Man, I'm still in awe. I am still in awe. Still in awe of what I saw last night. Unbelievable. And by the way, Nostradamus Sileo, once again, Xander, who's in first place in the NFC East after 3 weeks. How you doing, Washington Commanders? Big Sills, bold prediction. Who would win the NFC East? I said the Washington Commanders. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, well, that ain't looking that funny now, homeboys and girls. So, we start the program off always, though, with Big Sills. And we are powered by our great friends at BetUS. Make sure you check them out. So many great deals, and we're proud to be teamed up with those guys. The real zeal. It's only 3 weeks. I know. I'm just making a point. After 3 weeks, the Washington Commanders are in first place. I don't know. I'd rather be the Washington Commanders instead of the 0-3 Bengals, wouldn't you? How are you doing? What? And there you have the 2-1 Eagles. I still feel like it's 2023. Wake me up when I'm in 2024. They look like the same miserable football team that was a year ago. You're 2-1 and you look miserable. You know why? Because your head football coach is a miserable dude. He just bullshits you. Nothing's changed. It's the same guy. You know what's funny? A team takes on its identity of its coach. And if one thing is consistent with Nick, he's inconsistent. And that's why that team makes you feel shitty about the team sometimes, even when they're 2-0, because you don't feel good about the coach. Bye week. Couldn't come at a better time. Thank you, Sal. Appreciate that, brother. Dude, think about it. Okay? Hey, man, look at this. Maybe so. Don't you feel like you have the stupidest team on the planet? And I'm not talking about really the players. I'm talking about the leader. How could you be led by the stupidest coach in the league and feel good about your team? You know what I'm saying? Sounds like the same shit. Okay? I mean, honestly, man. Hey, look at Stevie, man. There you go, baby. This guy will bend over for a guy who's considered the stupidest coach in the NFL, Nick Sirianni. Why don't you take a knee and go over, walk around with him? I'm sure he'd appreciate that, knee bender. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. I mean, do you think the team really is happy where they are 2-1? You know, you hear the fans go, dude, we got out of New Orleans with a win. Your fans are right. Fans are right. Wait a minute, though. I do have to go back. You want a quarterback? You go get yourself a Josh Allen. Fuck. Wow. That's a football player right there, man. He don't need anybody. He don't need receivers. I thought all you said Stephon Diggs was going to be the unraveling of Josh Allen. Actually, he looks better. Wow. How are you doing? You want a quarterback? A real quarterback? There's your guy in Buffalo. That guy is insane great. Tough. Never misses games. He's a weapon. I've never seen anything like it. And get this guy didn't really get recruited that much. He didn't get recruited that much. Woo! What a quarterback. Man. By the way, top 10 QBs, top 10 NFL teams. Nick Sirianni's press conference that he had. We'll take a look at the 2024 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ian Beckles from the broadcast team will join us at 5:30. Former Buck himself. will step in with us, and we will talk with him. That'll be at 5:30. Xander, as always, at 3:30. How do we get Bill Belichick? Just continue doing what you're doing. You have the guys on Get Up, ESPN telling Nick Sirianni to shut the fuck up. He is a national punchline now. Seriously, I posted it on my Twitter page. You should go, or X. You should listen to it. Greeny's like, hey, he's not wrong. He should just shut up and not say anything. He's terrible behind a mic. And it's not like he's Belichick terrible. He's just dumb. He sounds dumb. Nick Sirianni sounds like an idiot when he's, dude, they should, hey, if Bob Lang, who is a professional propagandist, is good at his job, and I don't think he is, if that guy has any brains, you'll have that guy talk 12 minutes and get him out of there. Okay? Because pretty soon it's going to turn stupid. Hey, I've never seen a guy attack so much after a win. I've never seen a coach. He's the only 2-1 coach that everyone questions whether or not the team would be better off without him. Nobody's saying that about Matt LaFleur or the guy in Minnesota or Kyle Shanahan. Nobody's talking like that. He is the 2024 Brandon Staley conversation on being the biggest idiot on the planet. John McMullen can defend him all he wants. He's not going to be here. I mean, he makes the front office look bad. You can't, you know what? Here's the deal. His incompetent decisions, and they're still winning. It's like, here's the difference, though. Jalen Hurts, I'll give you the difference between Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence. You know what the difference is? They both turn the ball over a ton, right? Hurts wins at least. That's why Jalen will always get away with it with the turnovers. Like Josh Allen. You're going to get away with it if you win. No Eagle fan likes Nick, but Nick. Do you? Thanks, Sal. I appreciate that. All super chats go to the top. Guys, you were crazy great yesterday. Please hit the like button. Think about that. Jalen and Josh Allen have this in common. You know what it is? Well, okay, they turn the ball over. Now, Allen has done something great this year. Okay? And that's not turn the ball over. When he looks like that, he's unbeatable. Now, he will turn the ball over. He'll go through stretches. You know he's going to. Hurts is in a stretch now. But Jalen wins. So does Allen. They both win. And Arthur, you lost to Drew fucking Lock and Tyler. Not Tyler Heineke, Tyrod Taylor, and a pizza delivery guy. That's a stupid metric. Yeah, you beat Mahomes, but who's the world champion? Did it matter? No. It's a stupid metric. Guy lost to Zach Wilson. Who cares? Dumb metric. Stupidity at its finest. Jalen beat him. Jalen lost to Kyler Murray, too. Stupidity. You lost to two backup quarterbacks, the pizza guy and Tyrod Taylor and Drew Lock. 3 of them. Backup quarterbacks, Arthur. By the way, weirdos are named Arthur. What are you, royalty? It's all good, Arthur. I'm just feeling it today, man, when you watch your boy Josh Allen go at it. Woo! 3-0, too. On top of that, what a quarterback. What a player. Samuel, how you doing, brother? Sales, Nick reminds me of a kid giving an oral book report on a book he never read. Lang needs to teach Nick that less is more. Shut up to survive. How you doing? Woo! Only coach on the planet that is on the hot seat, 2-1, and everyone's calling him the biggest idiot in the NFL. Hey, you got, like I said, you got Greenberg telling Nick Sirianni to shut the fuck up because he's stupid behind the mic. How crazy is that? You got national people telling him to shut up because you sound stupid. You got the dumbest coach in the league in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Congratulations. It's quite a merit badge. And all the media guys who get accepted into the NovaCare complex, or I should say, the 16th NovaCare Center. You would think it's a place of religion that you have to do your penance and your Hail Marys and your Our Fathers before you get in. And that's kneel at the feet of Howie and Nick to get into the joint. It's the only way you get in. Yes, Father. Well, yes, Father. Yes, Father Roseman. Yeah, yes, Father Sirianni. Oh, yeah, and the Pope himself, Jeffrey Lurie. Got to kiss the ring to get into the room. Yep. That's one religion I won't follow. That's for dang sure. The stupidest coach in the league. Anybody who defends that, from now on, I'm just going to start muting because I'm not even going to debate it. Not even debating it. Again, this is how close you are to winning a Super Bowl. The NFC is wide open. By the way, there's no question that Minnesota is real. They've beaten the Niners and the Texans. It's not like they're nobodies. Brian Flores has done a great job, and that head coach has done a great job. They look formidable, even with Sam Darnold. Crazy. The Bengals, 0-3. I could still see the Bengals having a winning record because of Joe Burrow. But at the end of the day, their defense has got to stop people. You got to stop dudes. And they're cheap as hell. They didn't want to pay T. Higgins. They haven't paid Jamar Chase yet. They paid Joe Burrow. I mean, Jesus criminy, dude. Joe's got to win games. How about this? The richest quarterbacks in the NFL last night. Are they both 0-3? Is Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow, the $55 million a year guys, they're 0-6 combined. Is that right? How you doing? It's Big Sills week. Josh Allen, Jane Daniels look great. Hurricanes look phenomenal. Eagles are winning, but still concerns to talk about. We're hitting that like button. Nick still sucks. Way to go, Samuel. Thank you very much. Hey. Whoa. James Jones. What'd I tell you? James? You didn't want to run with Big Sills and run with the Bulls, did you? James, you didn't want to run with the Bulls when I made the bold prediction that they were going to win that football game against Cincinnati. How you doing? Huh? How you doing? Guy was sensational. Hey, by the way, just for the record, Josh Allen threw more touchdowns in a half than Hurts has all year. I had to do it. Xander, I had to do it. Josh Allen threw more touchdowns in a half than Hurts has all season. Oh, wait. Whoa. This is going to give me some goosebumps here. So Cliff Kingsbury and Brian Johnson are handling Jaden Daniels. How do you think Jaden Daniels is looking right now? With the tutelage of Brian Johnson, the former offensive coordinator of the Eagles, and Cliff Kingsbury, the OCU had a 3-year deal on the table for, decided to take the Washington job because he wanted to make coaching change at the O-line. I disagree with that, too, and that's a deal breaker. I've said it. I'm not getting rid of Jeff. That's not going to happen. So be it. But what did Kingsbury do? He goes and he hires Brian Johnson as his quarterback coach. What happens if that team wins the East and that guy's the rookie of the year? Yeah, woo! How you doing? And they beat the Eagles this year, Washington. And there's Brian Johnson with justice, truth, and the Big Shill's way all behind him. Woo! Man. Hey, I do before we move on here, I got to say it. We got to be critical of everybody here. Trevor Lawrence, he just does not look like a franchise quarterback. And here's the deal. What's he do special? Is there something he does special? Like, watch this with Hurts. Let me bring this up with Jalen. Jalen is a special dual threat guy. He's that signature. Lamar Jackson. He's special dual threat. Mahomes, his ad-libbing, his arm, and his arm talent. Everybody has something that they're special at. What does Trevor Lawrence have that makes you go, that guy's special? What's the special thing about him? He's got players around him. NTN's a good player. Could the O-line be better? Trevor Lawrence is going to get Doug Peterson fired. I mean, get this. All these guys are sitting there saying that you're going to move on. You're not moving on from that contract. You got salary cap hits. You can't. I mean, that's like the stupid conversation of moving on from Jalen Hurts. You're not moving on from him. Now, remember something. I saw people sometimes bringing up college careers. College careers have nothing to do with pro football. All it does, it gives you it gives NFL executives a benchmark of what they think your game can translate into the league. Tim Tebow was probably the greatest college quarterback of all time. His game never translated. And it looks to me like Trevor Lawrence was one of the top high school, if not the top high school prospect coming out of high school. He was also the number one prospect we've ever seen next to Elway and Allen when it came to physical attributes. Well, those things haven't translated to the next level yet. And I'm not sure they're going to. Some of these teams better catch up. The fans will bring back the brown paper bags like the Saints used to have. Lord's Grace, thank you very much for the super chat. They all go to the top. Joho, woo! How about them Commanders 2-1, leading the way in the NFC East? Big Sil's bold prediction. How you doing? Don't lose to the Bucs this week. Commanders, who they got? See who the Commanders have. They got Arizona. They're going to win that one too. They're going to be 3-1. Don't lose to the Bucs. Hey, watch this, James. Here's who the Eagles are going to roll out this weekend versus the Buccaneers. Okay, ready? Jahan Dotson, Paris Campbell, and Johnny Wilson. Is that your scout team? That's your practice squad team, isn't it? So wait a minute. You're going to go down to Tampa, and Jalen Hurts, that guy, is going to beat the Bucs. He's going to beat the Bucs with the practice squad wide receiving core. Look at that. Look at this guy. That's plenty. Jalen Hurts, 772 yards, 4 INTs. Allen, 634, no INTs. The INTs were complete passes. would Jalen Hurts be first in yards by the start of week 4? Dude, who gives a shit about that? He's 3-0, and he looks sensational. Your boy's a turnover machine. Turnover machine. Sills, I know he was your good friend Jerome, but man, does Carter move and have the same passion as him? It's like a mirror image. Morgan, here's the problem, though, too, Morgan. Unfortunately, he also has the other characteristic of Jerome. What do you think Jaylen Carter has? The one characteristic of Jerome that drove me crazy and all of us crazy. It drove Buddy Ryan crazy. What's the one characteristic these two guys have in common? God dang. This guy will make insane plays. You'll sit there and look at Jaylen Carter and you'll go just like this. Holy shit. What a demon. Then he'll take 5 plays off and you're like, so you learn to live with the 5. You learn to live with the 5 plays off because he's going to wreck a game for you. It's just, Andreas, it's just really not all that in a nutshell. That's sometimes just the way dudes are, man. Jerome Brown, I outplayed him his last year at Miami. Wasn't because I was better. It's because I was more consistent. But you know who made the game-wrecking plays in games? He did. And so you sit and learn to live with it. And you go, he's going to take 5 plays off. He's just going to take 5 plays off. And then you watch him make 8 plays where he destroys a team. It's just, you got to deal with it. Okay? You just got to deal with it. Sirianni, worst coach in the NFL. Sirianni's the worst coach in Eagle history. He holds you back from being a Super Bowl champion. Think of that. Your head coach is the reason you won't win a Super Bowl. Not your players or your quarterback. Him. So he's still calling plays? I thought that was done. So they lied to us. Why would I be shocked? Guys, please hit the like button. So they lied to us. This guy still called plays, right? Still calls plays. Worst coach in Eagle history. I'll take Chip Kelly over this guy. At least he was in control, in charge. Still, he was terrible. At least there was somebody to go to. This guy's a walking word salad. He's not even a coach. He's a walking liar. The organization, this is perfect for them. That's how the organization wants to be represented every time you put. Wait a minute. Hey, look at this. So let me ask you something here, Eastwood. Would you, if you owned a company, put Nick Sirianni as the front man so that is what you want to put out in public and how you want to be perceived is Nick Sirianni? That's the guy you would put out there. That's the front man you would put out there, is that guy. You'd put him out there as your CEO, right? That's the guy. Hey, I never said that I'd hire Chip Kelly. I said he's better than Fredo Sirianni. Woo! You bet, baby. Yes, sir. What a quarterback. Unbelievable. MVP. Unreal. Unreal. Hey, you guys want to make some money? You just listen to Big Sills. I told you take the Bills and take the Washington Commanders. How you doing? That's called prognosticating. Josh Allen is him. Man, love it. Hey, by the way, man, that dude is insane with nobody on his team. Could you imagine Josh Allen in Philly with A.J. Brown and Devontae and with Saquon Barkley and that old line? He'd throw for 10,000 yards and 70 touchdowns. Can you imagine a real quarterback in that building instead of, I don't know, well, kind of like a junior college quarterback? That's Xander's junior college quarterback right there. Kind of look like Rancho Cucamonga's like big star quarterback. Rancho Cucamonga. As soon as you said it's going to be a bumpy for Hurts. And didn't you say he played better without those playmakers? He did. They can become less predictable. That's ace. That's why Allen's playing better. He doesn't have a primary target. He actually took a subtle shot, I thought, at Stephon Diggs in the postgame when he said not everybody's around here worried about numbers anymore or getting targets or such. I think that's a shot at Diggs. I think it's a total shot at Diggs because nobody is. And I thought Jalen was better in the fourth. No primary targets. Absolutely. Okay? I think he was better. Let's see here. He sells Nick's shortfalls with the media run over for run cover for Howie's roster issues. Totally great take here. Perception at the NovaCare is bigger than results. Nick's a built-in fall guy. You're dead right, dude. You're dead on. He's bullshit at the mic and his decision making. Now he's calling plays again. I mean, what's changed? Tell me what's changed. The coordinators. Well, Vic is no question on his own. He's on an island. Vic Fangio's on an island. Kellen Moore is butting heads already with the head coach. I mean, and by the way, so, well, I'm going to get to Nick because we're going to do Nick here in a minute. Let's do that now. Guys, do me a favor. Give me a total where we are in the like list. Please hit it. Thank you very much. Sills, you're not upset that Mahomes is Allen's daddy. No. No, because someone's got to be king. Someone's got to be king. Can't have two kings. Tom Brady was Peyton Manning's daddy. Tiger Woods was Phil Mickelson's daddy. Michael Jordan was Karl Malone's daddy. I mean, welcome to the world of greatness. Sometimes you live in an era of greatness. Huh? Right? Hit the like button, please. All right, let's get into Nick here. The stupidest coach in the NFL. You know how hard that is to say? That's not something I want to say. But he is. He's the stupidest coach in the league. Okay? Josh Allen, no primary targets is great for the team. But he killed my fantasy. Samuel. Hey, screw him, Josh Allen. I need some fantasy points, and the Bills are the worst. Oh, okay. I love it, man. How you know? Hey, listen, laughing my ass off. It is. You only shit on Sirianni. This guy says I only shit on Sirianni. I think this guy's got shit in his head. or shit in his brain. I only take a shit on Sirianni. Well, it's easy. It's easy to take a shit in a place where people shit on. So let's get into this. Whatever. He's the worst coach I've ever seen at the mic. He is just a buffoon. It's now a comedy. Every time John McMullen from now on the pre- and post-game show, I'm just going to start chuckling when he brings up Nick Sirianni's name. Because I don't take him serious. I don't take him serious anymore. I'm fed up with it. I don't take him serious. He's not a coach. I take coaches serious. Vic Fangio is someone to be taken serious. Kellen Moore is to be taken serious. Jeff Stoutland is to be taken serious. Nick Sirianni's not to be taken serious. He's not qualified to be a head football coach. Okay? Get this. You don't really have to be a good coach to be the coach of the Eagles. You just have to know your role in your place. Being subservient. No authority. Yes, man. Kiss Howie's ass and the owner's ass. That's it. You know what he's good at? Great roster by Howie. Mr. Laurie gives me great confidence. And that's pretty much it. That's his job. To kiss their ass in public. Because I can't figure anything else out. I haven't. Barnacle Nick. The barnacle on the side of a boat. You just, it nauseates you because the barnacles, like when my grandfather was younger, we used to have barnacles that used to come up on the boat. We'd have to get like a knife, a long hatchet. We'd have to cut these barnacles off. The only difference is that the Eagles didn't cut the barnacle off. They keep the barnacles on the boat. Eventually eats the hull away. The boat sinks. My grandfather used to tell me all the time, you got to get the barnacles off or one, it'll weigh the boat down. And on top of that, it'll eat a hole in the boat. So we got to get the barnacles off. That's what Nick Sirianni is. He's like a barnacle on a boat. Okay? He's a barnacle on a boat. They're treacherous for boats and such. Okay? Here we go. I'm going to paraphrase this one here. Here's one of my favorites, Dez the Jew. If the Eagles keep winning, how do we get rid of Nick? You won't. Your Sirianni's a barnacle. What's Jalen Hurts? Seaweed. He's seaweed. Yeah. He's seaweed. So here, I'm going to put this little BS together here. I'm not going to tell you again about the decision that went into the 4th and 1. I'm not going to go over it again, and I don't have anything to follow up with, and stop asking me the question. Like you're a kid in kindergarten, and a teacher comes to you and says, "Why did you spill the Elmer's glue?" Well, I told you already it was an accident. I kicked it over, and I don't know if I have to tell you again. Why should I have to tell you? Well, because look at the mess you made. Don't you think you should clean it up? Well, I don't know. I'm not going to go into anything here, and I don't want to have to explain myself anymore to you guys. That the decision making that went into decision making. And the decision-making that went into decision-making, I'm not answering anymore. I thought he answered that like a 2-year-old. I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm not going to tell you why. It's my bat and ball, and that's the way it is. I thought I was looking at a little kindergarten guy. It's unbecoming of a coach. I don't mind him going like this. Hey, fuck you. I don't have to answer shit to you like Buddy would. Sure. But you can't act like a tough guy when you're not a tough guy and think you could turn it on when you want to be a tough guy because you're not a tough guy. You're a yes man. You can't be a yes man and a tough guy. They don't collide. They don't. They don't collide. I'm not going to answer that question because I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to be that guy, and I'm not going to do that. What a worm. I mean, really, it was very unmanly. Holy shit. Some people's favorite coach of all time is the wormiest coach in Eagle history. Hey, it's now comical. Not to get mad at anymore. It's now comical. This guy is, I mean, every time he speaks, it's stupid. Don't ask me that again. I do not want to go back over and follow up. Oh my God. Hey. So, hey, when you guys are getting a shitty product and they're charging you $350 a ticket and you want an explanation on why season tickets are going up and they can't tell you why they do certain things on the team, and the fans in Philadelphia, really the fans in Buffalo and everywhere else, they really are the fans that put rocket fuel in these organizations. They don't think they owe you an explanation on why they're sucking an opportunity away. Tell you what, if Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie in the next 5 years don't win a Super Bowl with the talent you have, it'll be the most disappointing time in Eagle history. Showing up to the Super Bowl is great. Not winning one in 5 years with all your talent, in my opinion, will be the biggest disappointment era in Eagle history. Even more disappointing than Andy Reid. Andy Reid hung you around the rim more. Last year, you were embarrassed in the wild card game. You weren't even hanging around. $200 million, $200 million in an offense. And if you don't win a Super Bowl from 2021, now we'll take that out of there. From 2022, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. If you don't win a Super Bowl by the end of the 2027 year, this will be a colossal failure era in Eagle history, led by Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. It'll be the biggest disappointment. You'll have the most talented rosters in Eagle history and nothing to show for it. Highest paid quarterback, highest paid receivers, highest paid running back, highest paid O-lineman, highest paid edge rusher, highest paid corners. I mean, shit. Am I wrong? It'll go down as like MG2 says, it's a colossal failure. Love Bob Brown. Great takes always. Hey, Sills, Hurts is actually the hull. This team goes where Hurts carries them. Barnacle Nick will sink Hurts' career. I'll take Howie Roseman as well. By the end of the 2027 season, if you do not have a Super Bowl, I will dub this the biggest failure era in Eagle history. Even more than Andy. Andy got closer with 5 years. This, you only get close once. Like if they don't make it to the NFC title game this year with all that money you spent, it's a disaster. Anything short of the NFC title game is a failure. Especially, who's here? Let's do this before we move on with Nick here. Who's a threat in the NFC? The 49ers look right now. You know what? Hey, Niner all day. You know what the Niners look like to me? Old, expensive, and hurt. Right? Just joined the show. Josh Allen was unreal. Nick, he was. He was sensational last night. Just sensational. So, Sills, am I hearing you see us in the – no, I'm not saying – I don't believe you're going to be in a Super Bowl ever again in the era of Jalen Hurts. Everyone in Philadelphia thinks he's going to 2 or 3. I do not. Because your organization will get in the way. Remember something. You won the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. You didn't win the Super Bowl with a frontline quarterback. So it wasn't really it wasn't something you prepared for. Yeah, you had the greatness of Wentz that year. If Wentz doesn't get Hurts, the MVP of the league by far. You don't get to the NFC title without him winning those games. Without Wentz going 11-2, you don't make it to the NFC Championship game. Foles had to win, really, last couple games of the regular season, and he had to win against what? Atlanta? It was Atlanta, then he had to beat Brady and them in the Super Bowl, Foles, right? I can't wait to see that injury report for this week. Minnesota, thank you, African Surf. It was Minnesota. Thanks, Ice. Ice, thank you. Minnesota. Okay. That's right. The Miracle, right? Where's the Miracle? Okay. Okay. That's right. It was the Miracle. Yeah, there was that Miracle Minnesota team. Kirk Cousins. No, wasn't Kirk Cousins. It was, what was that guy's name? That was the quarterback up there during that time. Okay. Guys, please hit the like button. About 140 likes right now. Outstanding. Keep it up. Guys are killing it. Let's move on here. Hit on Devontae and Slay. He doesn't want to say anything, which is the right thing to do, because anytime you turn something over to the league, that's confidential between the Players Association and the NFL, because if you're filing a complaint against a team or player, that's all confidential and handled through an arbitrator with the NFL Players Association. Case Keenum, thank you, brother. Thank you, guys. It was Case Keenum. That's right. Hey, am I right when I say this? A handsome hustler. Wasn't that like the NFC Championship game of the backups? It was like Case Keenum and Nick Foles, right? Right? It was like, right? Like Case Keenum and Nick Foles. The battle of the backups in the NFC for the NFC Championship. Guys, please hit the like button. You're killing it. So that was well answered. He did say something really cool here about Fred Johnson and how, Jeff Stoutland is always on his ass and how he coaches him, and he was excited for him. That's a cool moment there. When a player's talking about quitting, he didn't know if he could play the game. He comes to Philadelphia, and all of a sudden, Fred Johnson's now made himself some money. How about this, man? Fred Johnson showed up, and now Jeff Stoutland is on his ass, and he is relentless with him. That's so great to hear. You know what that means to me? When it's relentless and he's never quitting on you, that means he wants him to succeed so much. Maybe he's trying to groom him to be the next right tackle on this team. And he's the guy who's going to be replacing Lane Johnson. Maybe he's the guy he's grooming for that spot. Because I'll tell you what, he loves him. You know how I know he loves him? He's hard on him. Hey, listen, when a coach tells you how much he loves you, that's not the case. When a coach is on you, coaching you every day, being hard on you, That's when you know that coach cares about you and wants you to be somebody in the world. Jeff Stoutland is the best offensive line coach in pro football. Bill Callahan's a heck of a line coach. He really is. There's no getting around it. Look at the job he did with Mekhi Becton. Look at the job he's done with Jordan Mailata. He's turned Landon Dickerson, a second rounder, into one of the top 3 guards in football. His influence on Kelsey. And by the way, you know what makes the Eagles so insane great? In this one area, you go from Howard Mudd to Jeff Stoutland. And that progression, Jeffrey Lurie is the direct opposite of what he had when he took the team over from Norman Brayman. Norman Brayman believed in none of that. The owner, when he took ownership of the team, Jeffrey Lurie, he must have been told that. Because the Eagles, I can't remember when the Eagles have ever had a bad O-line since 2000, late 90s. I don't remember when they've ever had a bad line. I mean, it's just, they're always good. And that starts with the offensive line coaches. Incredible. Tremendous. Someone asked him the question about, how do you feel about your top 3 wide receivers not being available for Tampa? He's like, well, we'll just have to wait and see. That was a Reuben Frank question, I believe. And here's what you got. If Devontae's out, which I'm saying he will be, you're going to have in that game Jahan Dotson, Paris Campbell, and Johnny Wilson. We're going to find out if Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen this weekend. Because Allen's got a pretty good running back, too. We're going to find out. And by the way, I think the Bucs, we'll talk about the Bucs. We're going to find out here. John, thank you. Really cool. Tills, I still see the 23 Eagles a year ago. Hurts' consistency at quarterback is masked with drama. Wins and the talent on the team, it looks like he's going to have maximum 2 turnovers a game. Late in the season, good teams and quarterbacks cash them in. Amen, John. Amen. Hey, John, here's where the Eagles will get beat. Ready? A shitty head coach and turnovers. A shitty head coach and turnovers. That's where you're going to get beat. Absolutely. James Jones got to be feeling. Look at my boy right here, man. James Jones didn't believe me, though, man. He didn't want to roll with me, though. James didn't want to roll with me, though, man. I told him Washington will beat the Bengals. He didn't want to roll with me, though. How you doing? We still got some more Nick Siri liar. I believe in, hey, James, that kid was sensational last night. Shit, he already looks better than Hurts. Man. Hey, he looks already better than Jalen Hurts. Jaden Daniels. That's Xander's boy, 4,700 yards and 52 touchdowns this year. Jalen Hurts. Jaden Daniels, little weapons. No turnovers this season. Hurts with a ton of weapons. They can't stop giving it to other teams. You doing? So true. Like, hey, Gunner. Josh Allen threw more touchdowns in a half than Hurts has all year. I have to keep bringing that up because it's so poetic. Nick kind of tipped his hand a little bit here. I'll tell you how he tipped his hand. Jalen Hurts is not getting it done. Todd Bowles is his personal boogeyman. You better hope he picked up some voodoo in New Orleans before the game. I could always help Jalen with the Maloik, but I only bring that out of the violin case when I have to. Okay. So I only bring that out when I have to now. Now, if it's called upon and Jalen needs it, just let me know. And I'll put the voodoo on the Buccaneers if you want. Everyone's like, Sills, you root for the Bucs? No. Well, because I played for them? I like a lot of people there. That don't mean I root for them. They got me fired in Tampa. Why would I like them? Hey, I'm good friends with them now. Bruce Arians is in the building. We're all good. So, guys, you guys are like this. Dude, I got fired in Tampa because of the Bucs. So, I mean, you got Big Sills wrong. Here we go. I think Nick tipped his hand a little bit here. I think you're going to see some two tight end set. And you're going to see a lot more screen passes, I think, in this game coming up against the Buccaneers to Saquon Barkley. And don't be shocked if Will Shipley ends up getting some work in this game. Also, more Kenny Gainwell. You got a better running back room right now than you do a wide receiver room if you're not able to play your top three guys. So for me, what's the next best room? It's your running back room. Barkley, Gainwell, and Shipley are better than Dotson, Paris Campbell, and Johnny Wilson. So I say you get your running back room going more. Gunner, my Commanders play Philly tough with trash quarterback play. Can't wait to go into Philly and win. Just hope the win starts the Eagles' internal implosion. Woo! That's a Commander fan / Redskin fan. Hey, Gunner, you know what I really suck? You know what really sucks? From now on, I'm just going to go Washington Redskins because I don't want you to hide from your identity anymore. Did you see that story? That even the tribe that had the original logo on the Redskin helmet wants to bring back the Redskin logo. And as long as they have some sort of business dealing together, they're going to be cool with it. I don't know why Snyder and the league didn't work that deal out with him in the first place. Pay him. Why? Everyone else is bought and paid for. Why not that? Hey, Xander, I missed the super chat. I mean, why not? Everybody can be bought. You all hyped over a dude that beat Daniel Jones and the Bengals team. That is trash. Don't knock Jalen for playing 3 good teams and 1 2. Oh, I see. Oh, the Packer game is great. Packer game is great. Yeah, he's 3-7 in the last 10 games. Good. Getting better. And he has the most turnovers in 2 years. No, he's probably getting better. You didn't have a super chat, Prince. Princess says he had a super chat. Bullshit. Princess with a super chat. He didn't have no super chat. He thinks he's super. He just ain't. Ugh. Prince with a super. Did Prince have a super chat, Xander? No way. No, he didn't. Sills is wet thinking about Josh Allen. Oh, God, yeah. What would it be like in Philly if you had a real quarterback? What a wet dream that is. Man, he's so right. Thank you, Princess. It's always good to dream. It's always good to dream. It is. The only difference between me and Prince, I'm not asking Prince how tall he is like he asked me. How tall are you, Sills? What, in heels or in flip-flops? In heels or flip-flops, Prince? No, man. Let's get on to this bullshit here. Jaylen Carter. Yeah, Jalen played with a sense of urgency, and he, was told he sucked, and He just turned it on. I hate that, but I accept it. I do. I accept it. I accepted it with Jerome. I'll accept it here. Commanders are pretenders. I think the Eagles are pretenders. Let's be honest, their defense stinks. So does yours. The teams they beat combined record is 1-5. The teams we beat 4-2. Golf has more INTs and Mahomes has the same. Go Birds. Thanks for the super chat. I think you're pretenders too, just like a year ago. But you had a good defensive game. Let's see if they do it again. I think they have every opportunity to do it again, by the way. No question. I'm almost throwing up here over this Nick Sirianni press conference. He's athletic. He was on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Jaylen Carter. How come every time I see a Nick Sirianni press conference or I'm reading things that he said, I feel like I've got to drink milk? I mean, here's the beautiful one here. Nick, do you call plays? Yes. I call plays inside a game. And here's the thing that really bugged me the most. The janitor will call a play. The quarterback coach will call a play. The O-line coach will call a play. The coordinator will call a play. The quarterback coach will call a play. The wide receiver coach will call a play. How about having one guy in charge, him making the call like you have with Vic? You think there's any coincidence that Vic turned that thing around in one day and in one game? Because he's making the total calls in that team. He got killed in that Atlanta game. He turns around and puts up a masterpiece against the Saints. So nobody was making calls for Vic Fangio in that Saints game. He wasn't having Clint Hurt making calls. There was no linebacker coach making calls. There were no DB coaches making calls. Vic Fangio was making calls. These guys over on the offensive side, I mean, look at all the roosters they have in the hen house here. There's a ton of them. How about one rooster, dude? One guy. That's why the thing looks all over the place offensively. Because you don't have one guy in charge. And Nick comes parachuting in with those bullshit decisions. Damn, dude. Kind of ridiculous. Here. I like this take. Imagine being a real football guy and working for Barnacle Goofball Sirianni. This guy must ask the janitor, what do you think of this play? You know where he got that from? I never realized that until right now when I read this line. I'm going to give it to you where he got that philosophy from. You know what he said in the press conference? He said in the press conference that everywhere I've been, well, I met Nick Sirianni in 2014. Let me show you a picture of this. I'll show you a picture. Seals, who is your team? I don't really have a team. I love the league. I don't really have a team. I like following players. I follow players more than I do anything else. I don't really have a team. A team I cover now is the Eagles. Here, watch this. Sileo Chargers. Okay. Here's me with Tom Telesco and John Pagano, who was the defensive coordinator. I used to show up to training camp, and they would invite me over to practice all the time. And the Chargers would invite me. Had a great time. Let's see here. I know I got a picture. of I know I got a picture of him with me. The head or Nick Sirianni. He was the wide receiver coach here. Chargers. McCoy. Oh, here we go. Here's me with Mike McCoy, the head coach at practice. Charger practice. You know who his wide receiver coach was? Was Nick Sirianni. Do you know who his offensive coordinator was? Frank Wright. And he said something in the press conference today that was pretty bold. Mike McCoy, I asked him a question once. He's down now with Doug Peterson down in Jacksonville. And I asked Mike McCoy, the former head coach of the Chargers, I said, how do you come up with a game plan? He goes, well, we ask a lot of people in the building. We get everyone's opinion, and we put a game plan together, and all of us collectively put a game plan together. And I was like, so you asked everybody what they think of the game plan? He goes, yeah. He goes, why? You got a problem with that? I go, I do. I go, I got to have conviction. I can't be listening to a janitor and having his opinion on what a game plan is when I don't fucking respect the guy. Not everybody's opinion is respectable on putting a game plan together. When you hire a coordinator, that's got to be his conviction, not 10 other guys' convictions. I don't want to hear it. Working together with people is one thing. Coming to a decision and having one clear decision defines a football team and a leader. They have no leaders on their coaching staff except for Vic Fangio. Kellen Moore has no leadership role because you know why? Nick does everything in his power to undermine that by parachuting in and vetoing his plays and calling a play. Him calling one or two plays in a game overrides his leadership as the offensive coordinator on that football team. It completely overrides his leadership. I mean, it makes no sense. Okay? I mean, more another knee pad. Yeah, but I think what they do is they put him in that role. How can you do that, Sills, when the head coach is a glorified cheerleader? You can't. It's impossible. Sills, why does Hurts never show an intensity on a sideline? Montana never did that either. Montana never did that. Okay? He never did that stuff. Okay, he wasn't a rah-rah guy, too. That wasn't who he was. You'll see Kellen in a big here soon. They will cut off Nick's headset. Dude, I found that crazy that he did admit that he still calls plays. It undermines the coach. Nobody's calling plays on the defensive side for Vic Fangio. Nobody is. Guys, please hit the like button. Sills, would you consider a free agent wide receiver and cut a practice squad guy like Hunter Renfrow? What does he have? How much is he going to cost? Okay. Sills, I really think the Commanders can take the East. Eagles have a meatball as a head coach. The Cowboys have Jera scouting players. The Giants, I got you, man. I'll tell you one thing. Isn't it funny when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, and who do they remind you of? They remind you of the Lakers and the Yankees. Okay? You still got Jerry, though, right? But they remind me like a family-run business, and it's a family-run business, and, you know, Yankees aren't the same without the boss. Lakers aren't the same with Dr. Jerry Buss not being there. And Jerry's never been the same with Jimmy not being there. Just never been the same. It's been a fraud ever since. Willie, thank you very much, man. Hey, here's one other thing, too. But real quick before I continue with this mess and this hodgepodge of bullshit here by Sirianni. One thing is sure. Mozzie Smith and the Dallas Cowboys, all they do in the offseason is talk money. You don't talk about getting better. At least the Eagles talk about trying to get better. Eagles don't talk about money. All the good teams, Kansas City doesn't talk about money. All the Green Bay doesn't talk about money. All the good teams don't talk money. They just talk about winning. Money comes. All the Cowboys do is talk about contracts. How many years did it take to get Dak Prescott's deal done prior to this recent thing? 5 years? 6 years? That's all they do. Then they go on and get Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith is the reason that football team can't stop the run. He was drafted to stop the run. It's been a disaster. It's been a disaster. Okay? Yeah. Here's the one thing, though. Of course, Bob Lang not fucking being truthful. The difference between Chris Jones and the Kansas City Chiefs, they know how to departmentalize it and win Super Bowls. That's what separates Kansas City. They could take the stars and the Taylor Swifts, and the moment never gets too big for Mahomes. He never lets that shit get in his way. He never has highs and lows. He's a level-headed guy. He's never picked his head up. He keeps his head down, grinds it out, all the noise, his wife, his brother, Taylor Swift, all the bullshit. That's also what makes Mahomes great. I think being raised by a professional baseball dad, I think that helped him because he was on a drama team, that 86 Mets team. I don't think there's any coincidence to how that kid was raised. Don't let the drama get in the way. Drama can take you down. That's what makes that guy special. What's your take on Parsons running his mouth? I think that guy's a fucking overrated big mouth. I really do. And I saw Gardner Johnson pipe back on him. And Gardner Johnson's dead on. Hey, dude, you can talk all the shit you want on me. I win. You don't. Yeah, I mean, just because you're a Dallas Cowboy doesn't give you the autonomy that many people in the media think it does. Think about it. Look who's on television. Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, Jason Garrett, Moose Johnson. You got Michael Irvin. You got all these Cowboys, and because you're a Cowboy, you think you're entitled to what? Be the media kings? Michael Parsons, you've done dick in the NFL. Dick, and you're overrated. John McMullen swears that he's one of the best defensive players in the league. How can the best defensive player in the league be on the worst run defense in the league? Explain that. Explain that. Xander, right? The worst run defense in the National Football League are the Dallas Cowboys. If you're the best defensive player in the league, how can you be on the worst run-stopping team? I can promise you Lawrence Taylor was never on the worst run-stopping team. That guy was on the number one defense, and you were in the era of defenses. 85 Bears, the Eagles, gangrene. The Niners had a great one. Minnesota had a great one with Keith Millard. There were great defenses, Orange Crush in Denver. These guys were phenomenal back in the day because you could keep players on your team. How can you be the best defensive player when your team is on the worst run defense in the league? You're not tough. You're soft. You know what? I got to say this, the difference between the Cowboys defense and the Eagle defense. You saw the potential of the Eagle defense against the Saints. I've never seen the potential of the Cowboy defense. When? When have you seen a team? The Buffalo Bills a year ago ran, what was it? They completed like 11 passes and beat them by 30. I mean, dude, here are the Cowboys. Hey, I'll tell you this. I feel better about the Washington Commanders today than I do the Dallas Cowboys. Don't you? Hey, right, guys? In the NFC East, if you're an Eagle fan, not that you're over worried about it, but right, I'm more concerned about the Washington Commanders than I am the Cowboys. They got a quarterback and they got a pretty good-looking football team, Washington. I'm not worried about the Cowboys. I'm not worried about the Cowboys. Washington looks like they could be something. By the way, the quarterback's going to continue to get better. Right? Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, and Brian Johnson. Former coordinator in Philly. Nick, get this. Here's one thing that I really hated that Nick said at his press conference. He's okay with telling the media, I don't want to reiterate and go over again and relitigate the fourth down call and what went into it. But he's okay with going on and talking about play calling and other play calling situations that concern everybody in the building and how they get to a play and putting a game plan together. Well, Nick, if you're open to that, the reporters in the room want to know why you would supersede a play that all of you agreed on and that you would come in and override that. I thought Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. Nick is making this harder on the Eagles. He's making it harder. He's totally making it harder on you. He's making it harder on Hurts. Totally making it harder. The Devontae Smith hit I said yesterday, I thought was a cheap shot. All right, guys. We're going to look at the Buccaneers here. Xander's going to be on at the bottom of the hour here. Please hit the like button. Where are we on that like list here? Please hit the like button. Like Sills preaches consistency, and the Eagles are too inconsistent right now. Hutch, very well done. Nice done. That's nicely said, Hutch. That's exactly right. We're at 183. Not awful. Not awful. See if we can get ourselves to 200 by the bottom of the hour here. Great work. Thank you, guys. Hutch, that's right. It's got to be a little bit more consistent. But like somebody said earlier, remember what I told you guys? Hey, this is going to be bumpy out of the gate for Hurts. But the difference between him and Trevor Lawrence, he wins. Jalen Hurts turning the ball here. Let's put some context to this. Hurts turning the ball over now and having some bumpy rides and inconsistent play right now is what I expected. Remember I kept telling you in the offseason, you don't think this is going to be a smooth transition, do you? And it's not. But you see moments where, and with the injuries compiling this, it's made it even more inconsistent. You have injuries, new offense, new responsibilities. If this thing keeps working the way it is and how you're playing now, you're going to be better by October and playing better ball. If Vic can find a magic to keep consistency on that defense, dude, if you hang around 15 to 20, you're going to go places. You played, here, get this. The first two games of the year, you played like the 30th ranked defense in the league. Against the Saints, you played like a top 5 defense. It shows the potential. There's good football players there in New Orleans. I don't see that potential in Dallas. I don't really see good players in Dallas. I see a few, not enough. Dallas doesn't have a lot of good players. Philly Dog goes, Is Barkley going to be the offensive player of the year? Unless Kamara does something special or Sam Darnold keeps it up, those guys are probably right now in the NFC, probably in the conversation. But Barkley's right there. He's on pace for $2,000, 23 touchdowns, 350 receiving yards, 6 TDs, 30 touchdowns total. I don't know how you're not in that conversation. Okay? I don't know how you're not. Here are the Buccaneers. I think these numbers are kind of interesting here. How many people believe in here that the Buccaneer game is going to be a tough game? How many people think the game is going to be a tough ball game? The Buck game. Mario says yes. Abe goes, not me. Get this. Abe doesn't think the Buck game is going to be close when they roll out Jahan Dotson, Paris Campbell, and Johnny Wilson. Okay? Doesn't think that. Every game this season will be a battle. That's Xander's take. Don't forget, he'll be at the bottom of the hour. Ian Beckles, former Buccaneer himself, and also part of the broadcast team for the Bucs, will join us at 5:30 Eastern, and we'll talk some Buccaneers with him. 24-17 Bucs. Close game, redemption game from the playoff game you're talking. I think we lose this game, but I'm okay with it. GT, depending on how you lose. Correct. Barkley and Goddard, I think will be a factor. Here, let me throw these numbers at you here. Here's the Buccaneers after 3 games. Total offense. Averaging 277. That's 26th. Passing, 186. That's 23rd. Rushing, averaging 91 yards a game. That's 27th. Scoring, they're 15th at 21-3. They're 2-1, and I'm looking at that offense going, there's a 26th ranked offense in the NFL entering this game against Tampa or the Eagles on Sunday. Well, in my opinion, even with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I mean, I'm not impressed here with this. 26th ranked, right? No, and that's a great, I get it on the other side, but I'm talking just about the Bucs here. That, to me, the 26th ranked total offense is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 23rd in passing, 27th in run offense, rushing, and you're 15th in scoring. They did beat Detroit. Okay? So they got a better win on their record than you do. Why are they throwing the ball in the red zone? Run the ball there. Sirianni's jealous of Kellen, so he's going to interrupt everything he does. Absolutely, I agree. Xander, I missed that other super chat right behind the Lord's grace. Thank you very much, my friend. Please do me a favor. By the way, what an absolute slap in the face this will be this week for Devin White not being active, playing against the Bucs. Sills, we don't know what Eagles team is showing up. Christopher, especially with the injuries as well. Absolutely. Will Lane Johnson be playing? Is Mekhi Becton playing? Is AJ, Devontae? Britton Covey's already out, right? So it's true. You're right. No question. The Eagles won't be the same. You're going to get the same kind of production out of Tyler Steen and with Fred Johnson this weekend. I don't know. I just look at these offensive. They got a better win on their record than you. Saints win is a good win. No, the Green Bay win's better. Green Bay's playing good ball right now without Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur, and the guy in Minnesota are the Coach of the Year awards right now. They're just doing great jobs. I mean, I can't believe how good Matt LaFleur's doing without Jordan Love. And Minnesota looks like, I mean, dude, they drafted a quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, and Sam Darnold's playing like an MVP. That Vikings team's real. They've beaten in consecutive weeks the 49ers and the Texans. Green Bay's back to looking like Green Bay. And when they get Love back, I think he's playing this week against Minnesota too. So, Bucs offense stats are against two really good defenses, Lions and Denver. I think they're misleading. Clairvoyant, they could be. Yeah, that's not a horrible take. That's not, you're right. Detroit's in there. It would be tough for the Bucs to lose another home game for them. I don't think they lose, though. I want to see the team that the Eagles send down there. Okay, I really do. I want to see the team that they send down there. Sills, with all the new starter faces, I think we could catch them by surprise. Okay? Maybe. Because here's the defensive numbers. They're giving up 371 yards of total offense. That's 27th. Hey, am I right? Guys, correct me on this and fact check me. Am I right when I say this? The Eagles are like second at 414. Am I right when I say that? The Eagles are second or third in total offense with 414 yards. That's against the Packers, the Falcons, and the Saints. Aren't they like second or third at 414? Okay. Now, Xander, I'm not gonna break. So they're like second or third, and so the Eagles are rolling up 414 yards, and the Buccaneers are giving up 371. All right. I think that favors the Eagles. Pass defense. Jalen's averaging like what, 231? They're giving up 233, right on the number. It's 24th. Here's another one. This is a shocker. So the Bucs defense is giving up 137.7 yards per rush. That's 25th. Dude, you can't stop the run against Philly. You're not winning that game. Barkley go for 300 yards on you, man, if you're not careful. He's got to be hitting his head on the goalpost every time he touches the ball. Now, scoring, they're not bad. They're kind of like Philly here. 20.7 puts them in the middle of the league. They're 15th. I mean, this is all going to come down. In my opinion, if the Eagles were 100% healthy and the Buccaneers were 100% healthy, coaching probably favors the Bucs. But in my opinion, the roster favors the Eagles. But it's going to depend on what team you send down there. I mean, is Slay playing? Is he going to be all right? I mean, tomorrow that pre-injury list comes out, right? That'll come out tomorrow, and then the Thursday injury list will come out. Yeah, I don't know if Vita Vea is playing, but these are not in. Denver but how good is Denver? I mean, how good is Denver? That's a team that gave up 70 last year to the Dolphins. I mean, I don't know. How good are they? Okay. I mean, Jalen Hurts not being consistent is not true. This is an absolutely false take because he has been inconsistent. He has not thrown consistently well. This year's fourth in the league in dude, those numbers are misleading. He has the most turnovers of any quarterback in 2 years of the NFL. Anyone. Since the first game of the year a year ago to now, he's got the most turnovers in 26 games. With 26 turnovers. He's got more turnovers right now than he has touchdown passes. I mean, how could you, this guy, he says Jalen's been consistent. How is he consistent? Who's got the most passing yards right now in the NFL? It's Dak, right? You think Dak and his numbers reflect the Cowboys at what, 1-2? I think the Prescott's got the most passing yards, right? Has he been consistent too? He's got great numbers right now, Dak Prescott. Right now, that's right. Hurts is consistent at turning the ball over. That's the only thing he's been consistent at for the last 2 years. And for the record, how many people did Josh Allen throw the ball to last night? What was it, 13 guys? 13 or 14 different guys last night? Hey, wait a minute, Ish. Jalen's third? I thought Kirk Cousins' numbers don't matter. Hurts has got 772 yards. Okay? And he's got 6 turnovers. He's second in the league in turnovers. Second. More turnovers than touchdowns. Yeah, I know you're right. He's playing great ball. You know it's crazy too. People keep going like this. People keep saying this about Jalen. All he has to do is take care of the turnovers. When? Allen has 634 passing yards with no turnovers, and he's 3-0. He's going to have turnovers. I get it. I know that. And I live with him. You know why? Because he does what Jalen does. He wins. That's what you're going to have to deal with Hurts' turnovers. I think that's something that we have to come to a conclusion here. Man, that's something that I have to be fair with. Okay? So let's be fair here with Jalen. Well, if I'm okay with Josh Allen's turnovers, I think you got to be okay with Jalen Hurts' turnovers. That's right, Jay Brown. Talking about the second best quarterback in pro football, and it ain't fucking close. How you doing? Damn, that guy's great. Shit. I get all excited and hot when Josh Allen's name gets brought up, man. How about that dude, man? Woo! Hurts joining Winston's 30-30 club. Look at it. Look at my boy. Hey, Dez, I love you, man. Look at Dez the Jew. Allen is playing at an MVP level. Yep, he is. I got it. Yeah, I realize he's going to turn it off, the turnovers, like a switch. He's not going to turn it. That's right. Yeah, I realize he's not going to turn it off, the turnovers, like a switch. He's not. I think we're just going to have to learn to live with it. Okay? Sills, I'm critical of Hurts when needed, but it's not really fair as he has never had consistent coaching support in 8 to 10 years. Well, I'm not sure what else to say to you. You're going to have to learn, as Xander said, this is the wide world of the Eagles. This is the wide world of the Eagles. Xander's going to join us here in a couple seconds. Then at 5:30, we're going to get our friend Ian Beckles, part of the broadcast team for the Buccaneers. Yeah, these Buck numbers, man. I mean, this is going to depend on what Eagle team you guys roll out there in Tampa this weekend. Okay, it really is. Maybe Hurts play is getting coaches fired. No, I don't think Jalen wants to put bad tape out there. I don't believe that. I don't think that guy wants to lose. And I said the difference between Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence, Jalen turns the ball over but wins. Trevor Lawrence turns the ball over and loses. I mean, you learn, hey, Josh Allen turns the ball over and wins. You suck up the INTs and the turnovers if both these guys got 680, 700 win percentages. You're going to go like this. Shit, can we just cut it down a bit? I'm starting to think we have to sit here and eat some of this stuff a little bit here. Now get ready here. Go with me, folks. Come with me here. Come into the world of Big Sills here for a second. And just close your eyes for 1 second and do this. Could you imagine Josh Allen in Philly? Just for shits and giggles. Man, a real fucking quarterback. Man. Or how about this? Can you imagine Matt LaFleur as the head coach of the Eagles? Or what's that guy's name up in Minnesota? Mike O'Donnell? Is that his name? O'Connell? What's his name? How about that guy? Damn. Shit. Instead, I mean, really, I got Dumbo Sirianni as my coach. You know, there's the new name. Every time from now on the pre and post game show, the legendary JAKIB pre and post game show, when John McMullen brings up Dumbo Sirianni, I'm not really going to debate it anymore. I'm just going to start laughing. I'm just going to start laughing because I know Xander's now a huge fan. And, you know, now there's like 4,800 passing yards for Hurts and 50 touchdowns and shit and all that and the no holes defense. And holy cow, man, I got to get a diaper on here. Hang on. Hey, people complain about the amount of coaches Hurts has had. Maybe needs some responsibility in getting them fired. He needs some oh my God, don't say this, Gunner. When is it him and not the coaches? Don't do that in Philly. Are you kidding me? These apologists like Xander and everyone, are you crazy? They're going to hold him accountable. Coaches get turned over in this city. Remember what he said, Xander? He goes like this. That's the Eagle way. Oh, well, without further ado, my friend, I probably lit a Roman candle here.
What's up, Sills?
What up, my friend? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. You know, I'm just looking at the numbers here before I get on here. Jalen Hurts is on pace for 4,400 passing yards. Oh, my.
And 34 interceptions. How you doing? This guy's the next Jameis Winston.
All right, I'll give you that. He better toe those interceptions, Dad. I'll give you that one.
Hey, how about this one though, Xander? Maybe we got to do the same shit that we have to do for Josh Allen with Jalen Hurts a little bit. Maybe there's just going to be turnovers, but if the winning continues, I mean, Allen wins at 700% clip too. He's got to play. Obviously, the postseason, I get it. He's got to win too, but Hurts is 2-3. Has gotten to a Super Bowl, no doubt. But still, these guys are got the same winning percentage during the regular season, both. Maybe what we got to learn to do, because of the dual threat aspect, there's going to be turnovers, but if he wins, do you learn to live with him?
Well, you learn to live with them, but it doesn't mean you don't work on them. I mean, look at Josh Allen. He's through 3 games. He's got, I want to say he has 7 touchdowns and 0 turnovers right now in the first 2 games. And look at the way they're winning games. So you still want to aspire to be better, but I do think you have a point. You know, we had Les Bowen on this morning on Birds 365, and he's like, take the easier throws in the red zone until you get it back under. And I'm like, well, aren't you walking a fine line there? Do you want your quarterback to not take chances throwing to guys like Devontae and AJ for the sake of stopping turnovers? I mean, obviously he's got to be better. We all know that. Anybody that's, understands football knows you can't turn the ball over that much. But I don't want him to just become gun shy, with this. So He's got to get better at it. And really, the thing that bothers me with it is it seems like it's one or two collapses a game, and then the rest of the game he plays incredible. Like like I said, and I got ripped in the comments, which is fair. One dude commented, because yesterday I'm like, if you took out the 2 turnovers, he would have had a great game. One dude comment, that's like saying if you take out the crimes from a criminal, they wouldn't be a criminal. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I get it. You can't just take those plays out.
Outstanding take.
Yeah, it was a great. He ripped me in the chat. I answered him back. I said, great point. But he's got to get better at it. But look, I'm ready to live with it a little bit. I mean, he's going to have to grow through it. I don't think he's the player that Josh Allen is, though. And that's not a knock on Jalen. I don't think there's a quarterback in the league that's the player that Josh Allen is. John McMullen said this morning, Sills, I'm not sure if he caught it. He says if Josh Allen didn't play reckless, he would be the best quarterback in the league, and that includes Patrick Mahomes. He's that talented of a player.
I don't want to say that, but
I think John might be right. In terms of arm test, I don't know. Mahomes is pretty unreal. So I don't want to go there.
That's why I don't.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go there. I'm just saying that's the type of talent that Josh Allen is. I don't want to lie to myself. I don't think Jalen Hurts is that. But at the end of the day, Sills, he keeps, imagine if Josh Allen was here. Sills, you can do that in anything in life. There's always going to be a nicer car. There's always going to be a bigger house. There's always going to be a hotter chick. There's always going to be a better version of everything. You got to take what you got. You got to ride with who you got in your team and in your organization and what you got in life, and you got to build it up, man.
Amen. You've got to drive the Yugo, or you've got to drive the Datsun, or you got to drive a Volkswagen. Not everybody could drive one of them Ferraris, and you got to try to win yourself a Super Bowl with a Volkswagen. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm with you, Xander. Let's drive this Volkswagen.
Head. This is the point, going right over Sills' head.
I'm going to take that Volkswagen down to New Orleans this year, and I'm going to try to win me a Super Bowl with a Jetta. There you go. Jalen Hurts is a Jetta. That guy last night.
He's like an S-Class Mercedes. He's like an S-Class Mercedes. He's not quite a Ferrari, but he's like an S-Class Mercedes.
Last night was a Bugatti.
Yeah, all right. That's top of the line. Mahomes is the Bugatti. Josh Allen's the Ferrari. And Jalen Hurts is maybe a lower level.
He's a Jetta.
He's an S-Class or a McLaren or something in that range.
He's an S-Class. He's a C-Class. He's no S-Class.
C-Class is Drew Lock.
He's a two-door BMW that costs about $28,000.
Look at Hutch. Welcome to the National Football Show. Great point by Xander for Sills to take a big shit on it. Well, welcome to the show, Hutch. That's the story of this entire show.
I didn't hear it. Hey, let's get to Dumbo Sirianni. You said that I would hate that interview or him getting up in front of the microphone. He goes, when you hear this, you're not going to be happy. Let me tell you something. You have the dumbest coach in pro football.
Oh, God.
He's the dumbest coach. Did you hear the Get Up guys this morning?
It's tough
telling him to shut the fuck up because he's embarrassing himself.
It's tough for me to defend Nick Sirianni at this point. I'll battle with you on Jalen Hurts. He's going to have his ups and downs, and I'm going to call it as I see it each week. It is tough to defend Nick Sirianni. He is. I can't even listen to his press. I've told you that.
No, I stopped reading.
I can't even listen to the dude speak. He just puts these word salads together. John's like, he's doing that strategically so he gets less questions.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, shit, you might be right.
It's a politician's answer.
Yeah, it's a very politician. He makes this crazy word salad that ultimately amounts to nothing being said, but he kills a couple minutes by doing it. But look, I don't know what to think of Nick. At the end of the day, you talk about Ferraris and Bugattis. This roster is a Bugatti, and is Nick holding that? That's my ultimate fear with Nick, right? We can complain about it on the week-to-week basis, and it's going to be very easy to do. My ultimate fear is not about a specific 4th and 1 in this game or whatever. It's about, is he going to stop us from reaching the pinnacle of what we can be as a football team? And that's my fear with Nick Sirianni, is that I don't know if he has what it takes to elevate the team. Just like we talk about how quarterbacks elevate players around them, coaches elevate players too. Look at Andy Reid. Look at what he does to that roster. Now he's got Mahomes.
Nick Sirianni runs his team like he's disabled.
Look at Kyle Shanahan. If you don't want to use a point like the Chiefs, great coaches elevate players. I don't know if I see that from Nick Sirianni, because every time he's had a handle on a player, They've taken it out from him. They've taken it away from him. They've taken the duty and given it to somebody else. So it's like, I don't know if he's going to be able to elevate this team. I think we have an unbelievable roster right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And it's like,
when healthy,
obviously. That's the same for every team in the league. But
got it.
If we don't reach it, is it because Nick doesn't get us there? It's possible.
No. I think there's something else here too. So I found out today in that word salad menage, whatever you want to call it, fireside chat of his, that he still has play calling and he still calls some plays. And he says that
I don't know what the fuck he was thinking saying that. I mean, that
why
was just
would you do you know that undermines Kellen Moore when he says that? It undermines the coach and the authority. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you think anybody's calling those defensive plays on that side of the ball?
No, it's Vic Fangio. He's not even playing the $17 million edge rusher. I'm waiting for Howie to have a sit down with him.
I'm sure Howie's had a coordinator on it.
I bet you Vic is like, get the hell out of my office.
Hey, no shit. That ain't happening. But here you got Nick Sirianni parachuting in on a press conference going, yeah, you know what we do? We get the garbage man and we get the parking lot attendant. We get everybody to have decision-making on the play calling. And during the game, we'll have this. Hey, maybe we should call Stoutland will say, let's call this. And then we'll have the running back coach go, hey, maybe we call this. I'm like, well, who the fuck is in charge? Your football team is a resemble. You know what it is? It has the identity of Nick. No one's in charge. There's no leadership at the coaching positions except on one side of the ball. That's why you had such a massive improvement by one side of the ball versus the other. The other side still looked inconsistent. Now, injuries played a factor with AJ, that Devontae go. All of that was a built-in factor on why the offense was up and down. But on the other side, man, Vic had a great day. Vic improved so much from Atlanta to New Orleans. It's because one guy was the boss in the building. Here's what you got here on the offensive line coach will have a play. A wide receiver coach will have a play. I'll have a play. Well, fuck, man. Kellen Moore gets undermined by that. You talk about inconsistency. I don't want to hear the offensive line coach calling a play. I don't want to hear a wide receiver coach with a suggestion. Kellen, what the fuck do you want me to run here? Let's stay on the rails here. Nick takes this thing off the rails. You know where he got it from? Mike McCoy, who's a Doug Peterson guy. This all started in San Diego. I heard him. That's how those guys ran that Phillip Rivers. You know why they love Rivers? Rivers liked all that intel. But one thing Rivers did, Rivers audibled. He was a coach's kid too. But if Phillip didn't like a play, Xander, Phillip would do this. Now we ain't running that.
I think you're going to start to see more of that from Jalen Hurts.
You know that play in the back of the end zone that Nick Sirianni is trying to make excuses for? Hey, dude, if you didn't have the right personnel in there, Hurts should have audible out of that and ran the ball and kicked the field goal. Points were a premium anyway. You know what? There's nothing wrong with field goals and special teams when you're not playing your A game. Take the for sure thing. Hey, Xander, if this team was scoring 39 points a game, I'm sitting there going, and I'm going to be as aggressive as I can. But right now, the way that they've been inconsistent the last two games in scoring points are a premium right now with the injury bug that the team has. Anytime you're in a position, what would you say Jake Elliott is? And not that I like talking about kickers and shit, but what do you think he is right now in the league? Top 3 kickers? Think he's one of the top 3 guys? Well, there's points.
He's top 5.
He's instant points.
So how about this? I don't know how good Jake Elliott is right now because we don't fucking use him.
Hey, right, man. I mean, you know who's cost us more turnovers than Jalen Hurts? Nick Sirianni. Okay, he's cost us more football turnovers right now and downs. People don't bring that up. Hey, how many times did they miss?
Right, it's true.
How many downs on 4th down has he missed compared to the turnovers that Jalen has had?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We had 2 turnover on downs, I think, last week. So
that's on him.
Yeah, he's racking them up. But you're right. I mean, maybe if Jalen does have autonomy at the line of scrimmage, maybe you walk up there with 13 seconds. Now, I think Jalen at some point you probably can't undermine your coach if he says he wants to go for it. But if I'm the quarterback and I'm walking up Nick, there's 13 seconds on the clock. Even if we get this, what are we doing here? What's
what's
the goal
point?
here?
What's the end game to this?
What is our end game here? So
Yeah.
maybe Jalen will start to take that away, though, as he starts to see that, Jalen is a coach's kid. He understands the game of football. I mean, he's not dumb. He gets it. So
but
I'm wondering,
he respects the chain of command too much.
I think you're right. I think Jalen does respect the chain of command, and he understands that. So, we'll see. This is the worst insult I've ever gotten, Steven Slogan. I'm not even going to pull that up, man. Come on.
What do you call you, communist again?
I don't know, man.
How about, hey, I'm gonna read you something here. Here are the Bucs this weekend. Now, granted, look, somebody said, Denver's a good team since when? I don't remember that. Then I did go down to Tampa, and they did put the wood on them down there in Tampa at Raymond James this past weekend. But listen to this, Xander. Here's the offense. They're 26th in total offense.
Yeah, the team sucks.
They're 23rd in passing, 186 a game. Rushing, they're doing 91 yards a game. That's 27th. They're 15th in scoring. They're in the middle at 21-3. On defense, they're giving up 371 yards, and the Eagles are averaging 414 yards in 3 games. The Bucs are 27th, and you're going against a third-ranked offense. I don't know here. Here, Pat's defense, 233, which is 24th. That's right on the number for Hurts. He's about 231 in passing yards. Rush defense, 137.7. They give up 140 yards a rush. Saquon Barkley is going to be running the ball in the 25th ranked defense, stopping the run. Holy piss. You may not need receivers in this game. Scoring defense. They're in the middle of the pack here, giving up only 27, which means what? They're playing good red zone defense when you're only averaging 20 points. In today's NFL, that's a good number when you're 50.
Great number. That's a great number. Yeah.
You're in the middle of the room here. So my point would be, this is all going to be contingent on what Eagle team they roll down there. What roster? Is Lane out? Is Becton out? Is your top 2 receivers going to be out? Is Gardner Johnson playing? Is Slay okay? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it's going to come down to how the team looks. I mean, you can't just go like this here on a Tuesday. Well, the Eagles are better. Well, we don't know that yet until Wednesday, until we get what the list is going to be. I think
you just rolled out some of those injuries there. That's my biggest concern, man, coming into this game. It is a big concern, though, that you should know. You shouldn't have to wonder what team is going to show up this week. That's part of being a great team, is being consistent, and the Eagles have to fix that. But it's early in the year, so like we saw.
And it's early in the week.
Yeah, it's early in the year, though. I mean, 3 games, it's tough. If you're in week 8 and week 5 looks different than 3 and 7 looks different than 4, and everything's different, then you're going to have a real consistency problem. But I'm concerned about these injuries. You're talking about Lane Johnson out. I haven't heard anything on Mekhi Becton yet. I don't anticipate Lane is back when you're puking on the sideline with a concussion.
That's right. I thought he was ill with a sickness.
Me too. I was wondering if potentially he had an anxiety attack, because obviously he dealt with that in the past. And I don't suffer from that personally, but I do know that, people who have that seriously do suffer from, puking. Dude. I know. And that's when I heard it. When I heard it was a concussion, I'm like, that's a problem. Yeah. Because that's a serious grade concussion. Yep. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, and never am I going to try and be one. But if you listen to a doctor break it down, when you have puking with a concussion, you got problems. Like you said yesterday on the show, grade 1, right? They're going to limit his exposure.
There's no way Devontae plays.
Limit his exposure to noises. I mean, that's legit. So, and then Devontae Smith is a worry as well. I mean, he took a nasty hit in that game, and he's a tough dude, but that was a nasty hit, man. And I don't know what Greg Olson was watching. He clearly connected with Devontae's helmet, whether it was malicious or not is another
I thought it was helmet to helmet.
He clearly, that's why the helmet went flying off his body. I mean, he clearly hit him in the head.
I thought it was a dirty targeting hit.
I thought it was positive to see Devontae kind of walk off and give the fans riled them up a little bit, but you're dealing with real adversity, right? In this football team. You're talking about no AJ Brown, no Devontae Smith, no Lane Johnson. I mean,
you and the Niners are kind of in the same boat.
You're now a pedestrian offense to go a middle of the pack in terms of talent offense. When you talk about no Lane Johnson and no Mekhi Becton, now your offensive line's depleted. Your receiving core is depleted. You're like middle of the pack at best, and that's no knock on Jalen or Saquon or Dallas Goedert. You just lose major players there. So that's a real concern coming into this football game. We did get some updates. Let me see if I can get him real quick.
Oh, that'd be great if we could get some updates.
Well,
Hey,
I know that they put Britton Covey on the injured reserve. We knew that was going to happen when you heard
6 weeks.
Yeah, so he's going to be out for a good bit. Let me find the so they signed tight end Jack Stoll to the active roster. They're going to need him with 12 personnel this week in blocking. That's why they're bringing him up. And then they signed wide receiver John Ross to the practice squad and placed Britton Covey on injured reserve. So nothing huge on the updates, but
no updates on the injuries.
No updates on the injuries, just roster moves. But you can tell they added Jack Stoll to the roster because they know they're going to need 12 personnel without the star wide receivers out there. And then you're bringing John Ross, so maybe he gets elevated, during the game.
John Ross being signed means that, in my opinion,
practice squad. They got him
they'll elevate him for the game.
That's what
they won't do. They want to put him out there. And by the way, it's a good sign. I'll tell you why. He knows the system. He was in it the entire camp. So what they're going to do is, end of the week, they'll elevate him to the practice squad. Devontae will be put. I doubt they put him on IR, but they'll keep him in concussion protocol. And so once he's in concussion protocol, probably maybe next week, depending on what the grade is, Lane's the concern.
Yeah,
because
Lane has,
I think, like I said, no playing doctor or anything, but I've only seen that 4 times with a guy vomiting on the sidelines over concussions. That means, like you said, Xander, your vertigo's out, the loud noises, the bright lights, and all that.
Apparently it was pretty net. Like he was puking a lot. It wasn't just like he
was projectile vomiting.
Yeah, he had a lot. Yeah, he was over there sick. Yeah. I mean, he was, so not good for Lane Johnson. And you're right. You talk about AJ Brown's maybe the biggest injury, but it ain't good when you lose your star right tackle. That's been really one of the best players on this football team for the better part of 10 years. So,
hold on.
Trouble in Eagleville right now in terms of injuries.
I want you to do me a favor. Say it with me. Sills, you were right about the Commanders.
I never pushed back on you. I never pushed back on you on the Commanders. I said when they drafted Jaden Daniels, get ready. It might not be this year, but that team's going to be good. That dude last night. Oh, boy. James Jones, are you out there? Got to give credit where it's due in this league, man. That was an impressive performance from that kid. That was that last drive, he looked like a veteran quarterback. I mean, he marched down the field. He had a dude in his face on that touchdown delivery.
Outplayed Burrow.
I mean, he got rocked on that touchdown throw to Terry McLaurin. I mean, just really impressive work.
Terry McLaurin was freaking insane last night, too.
Terry McLaurin's great, yeah. So they're going to be a good football team in the future. It might not be this year.
Hey, I'm more worried about the Commanders than the Cowboys this year.
The Cowboys look brutal. I mean, I don't know. I still think Dak is a better quarterback than Eagles fans like to give him credit. I know he's the king of crunch time, but
I think they got too many holes everywhere else. Can't run the ball, can't stop the run. I mean, you're not going to go anywhere.
They're the worst. I mean, you think Eagles are bad at stopping and run people. Watch the Cowboys
sign Henry.
That Cowboys game is brutal.
Derrick Henry lives in Dallas. Why wouldn't you have signed him? He just goes for 155.
I'm not mad at it. I mean, shit, I don't give a shit.
No. You're right. But I'm saying, if you're the Cowboys, why are you not making those moves? Look, you know what? It's crazy. All you hear about is money in Dallas. You never hear that shit going on in Philly. They never, ever, unless it's AJ bitching about something, but that's not really a lot of noise. There's just not a lot of noise with money. Remember what we said about the Hurts deal? We woke up one morning, we were like, when was this thing negotiated? I haven't heard any negotiations. Nicole Lynn kept that thing so quiet with Clutch. We were like this. We woke up the next day going, he signed a $250 million deal.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah, but it was under the radar. It wasn't like a 5-year
romance. Yeah, it was big news when it happened. I remember when it happened. I wasn't on the air.
5-year bromance between Dak and Jerry, and that thing went on forever. I mean, they don't do that in Philly.
Jerry loves milking it, I'm fine. I mean, that's who he is. Good.
Because I think it hurts his team there with that.
All right, here. I don't think he gives a shit though. You know what Jerry's scoreboard is? My team's worth more than any
$10 billion.
And $10 billion is what it's reported at. If he went to sell that team, actually,
$15 billion.
It would be $12 to $15 billion. Yeah, and I think the Eagles would get close to 10 if you talk about selling, that team. But with the type of billionaires that they got fuck you money out there, just like
you would have to get a sheik to get that thing.
Yeah, the Cowboys are worth a lot of money, and that's Jerry scoreboard. But look, I'm good with that. You go ahead, make your team worth more money. I just want to win football games and win championships. So we got to do more of that as an organization. But yeah, Dallas is in trouble as well.
Barkley's 73 touches so far. Are you concerned about the workload?
I mean, it's too many. I'm sure everybody. I mean, look, what's he on pace for?
430 total touches.
That's a lot of touches, man. I mean,
Well, how many games is left?
The most he's ever had in a year is 295
total touches.
Well, no, that's carries. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. 73. Okay, 73 divided by 3 equals. So he's talking about 24.
295 and 22 with 57 catches. So he had 352. 352.
Right now he's on pace for 408 carries. Carries, not just total touches.
Yeah, that's too many. That's way too many. Everybody knows that's too many. Let's get real quick, Sills. I'm going to hit these super chats. I don't want to mess our people. MJ, thanks for the bunch of them. Yeah, Christopher Hand. Nick is a very punchable face. Chris, you're right. He does. Every time I watch him, I'm like, "Fuck you, Nick." Even though I like him, sometimes, I still say that.
Like slapping a mannequin.
Des the Hebrew, who I talked to on the postgame show. Yo,
I love Des the Joe.
He joined me on the postgame shows, and he was in New Orleans at the game.
So dope!
It was pretty sick to talk to Des down there. Good stuff from him. Chances and dumb decisions, not the same thing. Agreed, Gunner. And he gave us $5 here. We might have read this one. Well, I complain about the amount of coaches Hurts has had. Maybe he needs some responsibility in getting them fired. When is it him and not coaches? It's a fair point. I mean, it's also tough to switch a system every year, Gunner. I mean, these NFL offenses aren't like reading a kid's book, bro. It's a lot. Learning an offense is a lot of work.
Joe, look at this, Xander. The defensive playbooks are about this big.
Yeah.
The offensive playbooks are like a Tokyo phone book.
So I hear you, Gunner. At some point, he's going to have to answer the call, but, we'll see. Prince Sweat says, I mentioned that it's up to Jalen to make the plays. The Falcons' loss can be attributed to Nick. We left 9 points and lost by 1. Hello, that's Nick. Prince, I agree. The amount of points he's left on the board this year through just 3 games is criminal. James M. checks in. This game is going to come down to if Jalen Hurts can really handle the blitz or not. Todd Bowles gave him more than he can handle. That's a great point.
No, they're going to blitz him for sure.
And I think Todd Bowles is, I have a lot of respect for Raheem Morris, who we went up against.
Hey, Des the Jew, do it again for me, man. Make sure you tag my Twitter at Dan Sileo. Show those pictures because I don't know if I got them.
Where's Des the Jew? Why do you call him Des the Jew, by the way?
I don't know. Hebrew Jew? Why is there some sort
I don't think there's a problem with it. I think Des wouldn't like you if he had a problem with it. So he clearly doesn't give a shit. But
Hebrew's Jewish, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
What do we do?
I don't know. I'm Catholic. I don't know. I think so.
Oh, what? You don't know anything about the Quran or anything because you're a Catholic and he's a Jew? We don't have. Come on, what are you doing here?
Hebrew is Jew? ? Des, is that correct? Yes. Hebrew is often used to refer to the Jewish people and or
Jesus
Israelites.
Christ is considered Jesus the Jew.
Well, yeah, that's because there was no Christianity before Jesus Christ, Big Sills. We're not about to get into religion right now.
Hey, I'm just trying to have clarity here with my friend here, Des the Jew. That's all I want, just to make sure here that we're all on the same place.
As long as Des is cool.
Des the Hebrew is one of my favorite people in here.
Yeah, he's great. I talked to him too. So
now
I put a face to a name. So it's I love doing that. That's why I love getting some of the people on. I know what Abe looks like. I know what Des the Hebrew, Des the Jew looks like. I know what a couple of these dudes look like. So it's great talking to them on that show.
I love Des the Jew. That's right, brother, right there. Yeah, that's right. Hey, by the way, if you got a Twitter page, I'll follow you back. All of you stiffs, including you, Princess. If you follow me on my social media. Hey, Xander, what's that social media thing you want me to send shit to? That Twitter page, that X page? Make sure you get that out there, too, because I got a lot of people.
Yeah, at Real Xander. It's my new Twitter account, mostly following the Eagles. I had a personal account that's just inundated with personal stuff.
Xander the Catholic, right?
No, I have at Real Xander is the account. So follow me on Twitter. I'll follow a bunch of you guys back, too, as well. I haven't gotten back to following people, but I'm going to follow a bunch of you guys back at Real Xander on Twitter. So appreciate anybody that gives me a follow. Appreciate it.
I got to hand it to Brian Johnson and the job he did with Jaden Daniels last night. Can you believe that? Cliff Kingsbury and what they're doing with Jaden Daniels. Look at that quarterback guru, Brian Johnson, and what he's done. Last year, he had the 8th best offense in pro football. Now he's got a potential rookie of the year candidate, Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson's going to get another job opportunity at being an OC somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, they scapegoated him last year. I mean, look, he had his issues, but they scapegoated the shit out of that man. And I almost felt bad for him on the way out the door. I'm like, now the entire city's acting like this was all on Brian Johnson. Nobody wants to point the finger at the dude that's still here.
Oh, I think that's changed. I think they know the guy.
Oh, that's starting to change, and which is good for Brian because I think Brian is a future in this league. I think he's a smart guy. He was great in college. I know college is a lot different, obviously, but he was a great coach in college, great coordinator in college. So a lot of respect for Brian Johnson, actually, even though, his ending here was sour a little bit for the fans, but I have no issue with him. And you're right. The latest work he's done has been with Jaden Daniels, and that dude came into the league. He might be. Now, we thought there was going to be no CJ Stroud this year. I'm not saying he's going to be that, but he might be a close thing to it, man. He looked incredible. I think he was like 24 of 26 or 23 of 25 or something.
300 total yards, something,
that's
350.
Unbelievable. I mean, to think about that. And it's not like he was taking all underneath stuff. The dude was launching the ball down the field.
I know.
He was taking chances, so he looked really good last night, man.
What else looked really good? Watching Josh Allen throw more touchdowns in a half than Hurts has all year.
Yeah.
In a half. In a half.
My phone, can you guys imagine? My phone was blowing up last night during that. Are you watching this? Do you see what's on the TV? Sells.
Oh,
I got it, brother. No, he did.
Hey,
look, you got to give credit. Look, I like to give credit when credit is due.
Joe Brady's done a nice job with him.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen looks. This might be the best football he's ever played in his career, and he's played a lot of good football. I mean, he was on fire last night. I turned that game on. They went 5 straight drives with 5 straight touchdowns, 4 touchdown passes, and they weren't, like I said, they weren't underneath. They were nice throws, man. He was on fire last night for sure. You got to give him credit.
Hey, what's this number represent? Ready? 110 million and 0-6. Do you know what that number represents? Those two numbers?
110 million and
0-6.
0-6. Who's 0-6?
Here, wait. The Jags are 0-3, and the Bengals are 0-3, and the 2 highest paid players in the league combined at 55 million.
Yeah, Dak is now the highest, but those 2 were the highest.
Oh, damn, that's right. That's right.
Unbelievable. Can we just talk about my man, Doug Peterson, bro?
Oh, he's in trouble.
I love you, Doug, but what is going on down
Trevor
there,
Lawrence
man?
can get that guy fired. Let me ask you this about Trevor. Is there one thing he does? Like, here's the thing about Hurts. What's exceptional about Hurts? When he's dual threat, man, he's exceptional when he gets out in the perimeter and he wins. The difference between Trevor and Jalen turns the ball over but wins and finds a way to win. What's exceptional about him? Every quarterback in the league
Trevor
that's
Lawrence,
good.
Yeah. I mean, look, like you say, Sills, I'm a prove it guy. And until you prove it, I mean, he's really done nothing special in this league. I think they had one year where they went to the playoffs. He had that big comeback, or they were down like
against the Chargers,
35 and nothing or something. And I'm like, oh, great, you went down 35-0. I get you came back, but no, he's not. He's way overrated right now, and now they're locked in. So unfortunately, that contract,
that's an anchor around their neck.
But that's bad news more for Doug than anybody, right? Because before you sign that guy, you have leeway on who to choose. You signed Trevor Lawrence for that type of deal. Doug's getting the can if he can't make it work. So Doug's got what Doug needs to do though is move on from these court. It's the same dude he lost his job in Philly for, and the guy has done nothing.
Run the ball with ETN.
I mean, I don't understand what Doug is doing with Press Taylor. The guy stinks. He doesn't add anything, I don't think, to that team. And I think Trevor Lawrence, to be fair to him, I think he's better than he's showing, if that makes sense. I'm not saying what he's done is bad, but if he gets the right I don't know. Is he this bad?
Would you give that guy $55 million?
No, but if you're remember, they're Jacksonville Jaguars.
I know.
They suck, and they've sucked for years. So they get a guy like Trevor. They don't even know what a good quarterback looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why they kind of fell for it. But, I'm not sure. Maybe bring Doug back to Philly. He'll get his shit together back here with this roster.
Oh, I think they would love him in like a consultant role.
Yeah, but he's got to move on from what's holding him down. And I don't think right now he hasn't shown that he's willing to do it. Like,
That's, you know what it looks like to me?
He got that gig. He took a year off in the NFL.
Why don't you bring Frank down there?
Right, like do something different.
Bring
right?
Frank down there.
And he's still using Press Taylor, so I don't really get what he's trying to accomplish there with that.
Just get Frank down there, man.
Let's get this super real quick, so.
Good, let's do it.
Door Gunner says Eagles roster like a pimp my ride vehicle. On the surface looks amazing until the road gets rough and the wheels fall off.
Yeah. And then you realize she ain't got no teeth, right? Is that what you're saying there, Gunner?
Sounds like that's what he's saying. Fly Eagles fanatic saying, look at the Bills' tough schedule. We will see. They do have a tough schedule, but if Josh Allen plays like that, my man.
I think there's like Jets and Ravens and somebody else lined up on the other side of these games. It's true. It's true, obviously. But here's the difference. They're blowing the teams out.
I'm not too scared of the Ravens anymore, bro. I'm really not.
Boy, I'll tell you what. You know what John McMullen said, if you remember right, in the offseason? John said they lost a lot of shit over there on defense. It's playing out that way.
Yeah.
Because they look, and by the way, they just realized last week that Derrick Henry was on the team. I mean,
I know, right?
You needed to get that guy rolling early.
Yeah, they almost squandered that game, though, man. It was 28-6 going into.
Yeah, they had. I thought that thing was over.
Yeah. So,
hey, last thing here for you. How concerned are you heading into this week here with the injuries?
I mean, it's got to be a real concern. I mean, when you talk about we're not talking about.
You're talking frontline stars.
Yeah, with all due respect to Britton Covey, he's the least of our worries. We're talking about bona fide stars that make this football team what this football team is right now, injured. I mean, you talk about losing Devontae and AJ. That's almost as big of a loss as if you lost the quarterback, losing both of those guys and your star right tackle. So these are big hits to the offense. It makes you a little bit concerned. The other thing that makes you concerned is, and John kind of put me onto this, and I think he's right. Similar to how he said about New Orleans, where he's like, I don't think they're as good as they've played, so they're going to come back to the earth. Well, they did. I don't think the Bucs are as bad as they played last week, getting beat by the Broncos. I think they could have a better week this week. So, look, I think it's going to be another.
They got a better win than the Eagles do. They got a win against the Lions.
Yeah, it's true. And the Lions. I mean, I don't know if
they beat them in Detroit too.
Yeah, the Lions aren't going to be as good this year. I think. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. It's still early in the year, but I don't know if they're as good. Everybody projected them. Oh, the best team in the NFC. I don't know if they're that. So,
hey, real quick, you want to hear my top 10 teams?
Yeah, Joe, ring it off to me.
All right.
I'd like to make mine too, but I didn't make it, but I'll see if I can wing it.
Okay, wing it here. Here is, and by the way, I'll wait for my top 10 quarterbacks in pro football. Is Jalen Hurts on here? We'll wait and see on that one. Here are the Big Sills top 10 NFL teams. Number 10, Matt LaFleur has to be the coach of the year in what he's done with a backup quarterback. They're 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're running the ball as good as ever. They get Jordan Love back this week. I got the Packers at 2-1 at number 10.
I like that.
At number 9, the team from the city of brotherly love, the Philadelphia Eagles. I do think the Saints game has tempered my opinion a little.
I think 9's a little generous. I got to be honest.
You know why? I think what they showed me on defense is ability, what they can be.
Yep, I like that.
Not what they are yet.
Yeah, all right, I like that.
And so it showed me they can be that, okay? Whereas Dallas is never going to show me that. You know what I mean? Dallas is never going to show you that. Xander, what I saw with the Saints, okay, that's what they can be. They're not that yet. Can they be that by November and play like that week in and week out? Number 8. Man, I don't know, man. This team every year does this bullshit to me. 3-0 Seahawks. I don't know. I mean, maybe because they're so far away, they don't get a lot of pub, but they're playing great defense. They run the ball. And Geno Smith has revitalize his career up there, my friend. I mean, he's undefeated up there. He's 3-0. They win ball games. And I'll tell you this, you know what my daughter said? My daughter doesn't really like watch position players. She's like, hey, Dad, that DK Metcalf guy can play.
Yeah.
I mean, he can play. He's outstanding.
Yeah, that dude can play.
He can play. At number 7, I'm going to say that this thing was just a blimp on the screen here on what happened to the Texans this past week. I'm going to put the Texans at 7 because I think they got too good a roster, and I think they're going to pick up the pieces here, and I think they're going to go on this week. Man, Minnesota beat them. You know, Minnesota's beaten them and the 49ers in consecutive weeks. Now, I made this list prior to looking at those numbers, Xander. I think maybe I got the Bucs too high here at 6 because they're 2-1, but they got a big win against the Detroit Lions. The Lions are my favorite to go to the Super Bowl and win it. I don't know, man. They're gonna tell me a lot who you are this week. We'll see. Number 5. I don't know what it is with the Steelers. Hey, and Justin Fields is 3-0. And the football defense is probably the best defense in pro football right now, the Steelers. And TJ Watt's the defensive player of the year in the way that guy's been playing. So I got the Steelers at 5. The Minnesota Vikings. Let me tell you something about Brian Flores. He may took a lot of shit in Miami, but I'll tell you one thing that they have done up in Minnesota. That's a violent defense, and you know what it is? It's a tough man's defense. What's the one thing the Miami Dolphins are lacking right now? It's toughness. I'll tell you this, the Hello Kitty guy may be able to design plays and ride around on scooters and have battery charged cars that he sits in like that cube fucking thing. Well, let me tell you something. They are a soft, bendy, cheap bag. That's what they are. They're a phony Rolex. That team is not tough. And Brian Flores has brought something to that Minnesota Vikings defense. They've beaten the Niners and Texans, and they whooped the Texans this past week. I like that Lions team too much, and I like Dan Campbell. Jared Goff, couple games a little bit spotty. I've got him number 3. I got the Bills too. Could that change because of the schedule coming up? Absolutely. And until, the Chiefs haven't played great ball, I see a lot of lists right now that have the Bills ahead of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Until you beat the King, dude.
Yeah, I get it.
Until you beat the King, I'm not going to put you above the King.
Yeah, right. I mean, it depends what type of list you're making. I mean, if I'm going off pure the first 3 weeks of football.
That's right. This is the first 3 weeks.
I'm putting the Bills at 1 though right now. I mean, just based on the first 3 weeks of football, I get it. You got to knock off the King. So, but that to me, that's.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, that's a different analysis for me where you got to beat the King obviously in the playoffs, but through the first 3 weeks, if I didn't know any previous years existed, the Bills are the number 1 team in football. I'd say right now. They're playing incredible. I'm not going to give you mine today. I'll give them tomorrow though, because I want to make it. I want to do it right because I'm looking at this list. I have a couple clashes of me to get down to 10. It's tough to get the Eagles.
You got what I said about the Eagles here.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Hey, did you hear what he said? I'm being kinder than him.
Well, look, I don't. That doesn't mean I don't think our team is great, but to what they played like through 3 games. I mean, look at how many points the offense has put on the board.
You're right.
They put a 21 and then 18. It's like our offense is a lot better than that. So through 3 weeks, I don't believe our team has played anywhere close to what the potential of the football team is. I do think you're right. The defense showed you a ton last week and what they can be, what they're projecting to be if they start to really put it together on a consistent basis. So I think that's a good thing, but there's the NFL is wide open right now, as it always is early in the year. And, it'll be interesting to see, how the war of attrition affects it, how these teams continue to develop. And that's why, like Tom Brady always says, the NFL starts after Thanksgiving, man. It doesn't really start right now. It does, but you know what I'm saying, where, you start to really know who the contenders are late in the year. And we're going to learn a lot about all these teams. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. And I'm hopeful and optimistic that our birds are going to start to click. I'm just worried Nick's going to get in the way, but hopefully he does not.
So again, that's a good take on what the team could be, because that was a leap, and that was great coaching by Vic Fangio here. I think we got a
You know
couple
what it was even more so than great coaching, though, Sills?
effort.
Your players showed up, man.
Yeah, effort.
You know, like it doesn't matter how good your scheme is. If your best players on the defensive line don't play well,
Yeah,
it
effort.
ain't gonna look good. You know,
Yeah,
if Darius Slay, your star corner, gets beat for the game winner, you know, it's not gonna look good. So,
Nope.
you know, the players showed up yesterday in a big way, and I thought that was a positive thing.
Let me ask you one last one here. Do you think that Vic Fangio would have the balls to deactivate Bryce Huff for
Not deactivate him. I've been hard on him. I don't think he's that bad. Who you gonna play up over him?
Dude,
I mean, if you're talking about
Brandon Graham is outplaying him.
I know, but I'm saying you're talking about deactivating. That means he's worse than Jalen Hunt and all those. Is he that bad? Oh my God! Oh, holy Lord!
I'd rather get Jalen Hunt. I'd rather get Jalen Hunt.
Tell me, is Bryce Huff that fucking bad? Did we sign a guy that shouldn't even be on the 53?
Yeah. Dude, you said it the first week you saw him play. You called him a liability. Every game he's been in, he's been a liability.
God. Oh, God.
Hey, dude, this guy is the worst. We saw your super chat, princess. Relax, bitch. We'll get to it. Holy cow. You know, a man who asks another man how tall he is and another man who has patience like a woman. Come on, Prince. That's why you call him princess. Come on, sweetheart.
Are you telling me we signed a $17 million, 51 total million dollar guy, and you don't even think he should be on the fucking 53-man roster?
Yeah. 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 I'd rather get Jalen Hunt. I'd rather get Jalen Hunt. Stop crying. What up? Snowflakes. Snowflakes.
Excuse my French, man.
I get Prince already.
Let me get him. I'll get him. We got a couple here.
Yeah, make sure you get to Honey's. You should do Honey's first because I don't want him to wet his pants.
That's all right.
We'll do this guy. He cries.
Yeah, he sends $5 of his hard-earned money to get a comment on the show.
This guy cries too. This guy cries a ton all the day.
All these guys, they're working hard in their life. They're sending us their hard-earned money. I'm gonna get to their super chats. I respect that. Go ahead, Perez. I like Hurts not having AJ or Smith. Makes the offense run through Goddard and Saquon, and it expands the offensive play calling. It's a good point, Perez.
Holy shit! Great take by this guy. Finally.
Yeah. Perez, don't take the shit from Sills. Give it back to him in the chat.
Hey, Martin. That's a great take because I thought he played better in the fourth quarter when he wasn't obligated to go to primary targets. I said that too, and you're right. I mean, he looked more proficient in spreading the ball around. Unbelievable. A decent take by Martin. Usually stinks the entire 4 hours, but go ahead.
Martin, great take, Martin. Hey, Broncos may have, due to altitude, Tampa sea level low. I guess he's saying the altitude gave him an advantage there. You know, was that game in Denver?
The game was in Tampa there, Abe. Abe, the game was at Raymond James.
Abe, you know it. You can't be a softie in this show. You better get your shit.
Don't shit take, Abe. Let's go. Abe F. Let's go. Oh, God. You read this because I don't want to throw up on myself.
Prince, the legendary Prince, says, the Lions played the Rams, Bucs, and Cardinals. The Eagles played Green Bay, Falcons, and Saints. All who you said were better than us.
Prince. I said the Cardinals were better. When did I say that than the Eagles?
The Cardinals look pretty good.
But I never once said that. The Bucs have already beaten the fuck out of you in a playoff game. And the Rams, I did think that, and they just beat the 49ers, so they're 1-2. Okay. I think Green Bay is a good football team, and they're playing it. You beat them. I said you were better than the Falcons. When did I say that? I never said that.
Yeah, but you said that the Lions have played better schedule. I think Prince is right. The Green Bay Falcons and the Saints. Falcons just put up a good fight versus the champs. Green Bay, you just put them in your top 10.
Prince makes shit up.
Prince,
this guy's got CTE.
No, Prince, great take, Prince. That's correct.
He sucks.
Sills gets checked on the super chat.
He does.
Stuff, Prince.
He sucks.
So my biggest takeaway is that from this segment is Bryce Huff shouldn't even be on the 53-man roster.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? What's the
point? God.
Did you pay him? He's so not productive. Hey, Prince, you and me here. You think Bryce Huff should be on the 53-man roster?
Come on, man. Everybody.
How many people in here?
Everybody.
Hey,
is
everyone.
A collective thought process right now?
Everyone.
I know he stinks. I
How many
understand he's
people
not worth
believe
what
that
he
guy
paid.
should be on the 53-man roster at $17.8 million.
Oh,
Dude,
God.
he's done dick.
Dude, this is a tough. Sills, it's week 3, though, dude. Come on. I mean, I
Week
can't put
3?
him on.
What, you think he's going to learn how to stop the run in week, 6?
No, I don't. Can he at least be the one trick that we signed him for? Can he at least make some pressure on the outside? He set the edge. I mean, look, he set the edge a couple plays last game, a little bit better. Was inconsistent with it, but he only played 18.
Wow, are you looking for everything to help the kid out here, man? It's too early.
I don't want to admit it. I don't want to. I'm ready to admit he sucks. I'm not ready to admit he shouldn't be on the 50.
Okay, who should be on the field? Nolan Smith or Bryce Huff and stuff?
Nolan Smith actually did. Oh, if you watch the tape, Sills, I'm sure you'll see some of it. I'm not saying he's great. I gave him all the nicknames. I get he's got to rush the passer, but he did a much better job at setting the edge than Bryce Hufflepuff did. Much better job at setting the edge than Hufflepuff. So, maybe Nolan should be out there. I do like Jalen Carter a little bit, but he's a project player. I don't think they're going to him yet.
So wait a minute. One guy's a project player and the other guy's a non-player. I mean, hey, Prince, is that good enough for you, sweetheart? There you can, whatever you want to do. Am I an idiot for worrying about Barkley's usage? No.
No, you're not an idiot at all for that, Gooby.
No way. Offensive health moving forward, barely winning while leaning on Barkley. As much gives me pause. It does give you pause. Well, he's got 73 total touches so far in the first 3 weeks. So I think they're all concerned about it too and bringing that up. No question about it, man. I mean, that's a major concern. Yeah, so wait a minute here. One guy can't play and the other guy's a project. Well, shit.
Yeah,
give me the project. Maybe I can mold him into something because I know it is. That guy Bryce Huff can't play.
I got to run because I got a call at 4:30 with one of our sponsors actually. But I do want to review this real quick. Can we look? Is there an out? Is there an out in this contract? Are we looking at this guy for 2 years?
Yeah, it's called dead cap money.
Yeah.
Hey, you think they activate Devin White this week?
No.
Against the Bucs?
No.
Oh!
Devin White will never play a game in Philadelphia.
Oh,
I know nobody wants to hear that. Everybody doesn't want to hear that, and I understand why. But and because we all expected him to be a better player, but the Philadelphia Eagles do not like him. I don't know if it's Howie or what. Let's just real quick look at this contract. This is not good, everybody. This is not good. The cap hits are massive. If you move on from him after this year, dead cap 34. Next year, it's 30. 26, it's 22. And 27, it's 15.8. You're looking at a massive dead cap hit if we move on from Bryce Huff.
Howie season.
Oh, God, this is brutal.
Hey, so let me get this right. You've got $8 million on the sidelines on the pine with White. You've got 17.8 with Huff and Puff. You've got Bradbury on the IR with 11.5. Hey, man, that's how you do a salary cap, Junior. Holy cow. So I got to get this kid out of here. Huff is karma for us making fun of Zeke's contract. Oh, really? Zeke? Hey, the money you're going to pay for Zeke, trust me, that will be la croce. You know what that is in Italian? The cross we bear. Xander, great stuff. Tell the folks how many likes we have right now. You guys have killed it. Don't forget Birds 365 in the morning. They're absolutely killing it with John Filibuster McMullen.
Oh, come on. Yeah, everybody needs to rip Sills for that. He's crying about John talking about step in. You got something to say. Step in, Big Sills. You're a big boy. You're a big boy. I mean, come on, Big Sills. I'm surprised that Jack was a little upset.
How many?
I don't know how many likes we're at. I got it.
How many even my aunt, who defends me since I was a little boy.
Oh, I wonder why your aunt defends you over everybody else. You think she's got no bias in her? I mean, come on. I love your Aunt Betty. I love your Aunt Betty, but no, you're telling me she's defending Big Sills. No, it's like telling me that my mother defended me.
There's no balance there with that.
269 likes. Wow, great stuff, man.
Keep it up, guys. Xander, we'll catch you tomorrow morning on Birds 365, brother.
Yeah, I just want to give one update before I go. The Saquon Barkley jersey was claimed from our man David Mac Perez, so I ordered it already.
As long as it wasn't Prince.
It was not Prince. I hope Prince wins one, but it wasn't him. So I think we're going to be giving away a lot more Saquon Barkley jerseys this year. So he did claim it, and we'll be on to next week. I think it's going to be a good chance next week, especially you're talking about no Devontae, no AJ. It's going to be Saquon Barkley all day. So he should get those 125, and we'll be giving away another one next week. So get your memberships in, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Sills, great show as always, my brother. I'll be listening to the end. Thank you for having me on.
You got it, brother. We'll catch you tomorrow morning there on Birds 365. By the way, Cosmo Hendrickson, would the Duke Tobin, general manager of the Bengals, make that move to trade him? They're not going to sign him. Would that be somebody how we'd be interested in, that Hendrickson kid? That's a good take there. Hey, guys, don't forget also, if you're looking for a new sports book, this football season, our great friends at BetUS are here. Don't forget, this is absolutely one of the absolute best times for you to find a new book during this sports season. Folks, one of the great things that we're offering up here, too, is the YouTube 150. The YouTube 150 goes up to $200 or $200K, or excuse me, $2,000. The YouTube 150, $2,000. Absolutely awesome. 150% bonus. And get this, your second purchases is $125, and your third 200% also in crypto bonuses as well. It's the YouTube 150 up to 2K, 150% bonus. Your second one is 125. Your third one is also 125. Make sure you log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Eagles. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. My friend Ian Beckles, former Buccaneer and part of the postgame show, will join us at 5:30. We'll get his spin on the 2-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend. Eagles go to Raymond James and play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I gave you my top 10. Just a couple things before we go into my top 10 quarterbacks and also my MVP race. Brian Flores is making a comeback. He's making a comeback. Defense coordinator, Minnesota Vikings. That football team, by the way, Sam Darnold not turning the ball over. You know what they're doing? O'Connell is coaching the bad out of Sam Darnold. Him and LaFleur are doing coach of the year jobs right now. Both of those guys, Minnesota and Matt LaFleur with Green Bay. Just fantastic. Just fantastic stuff right here. Minnesota. You beat the 49ers, then you turn around and you take care of the Texans. That's good stuff, dude. Here, something else too. I hope he gets another opportunity to be a head football coach, because one thing that the Miami Dolphins are missing now is what? What's the one thing the Miami Dolphins are missing now? You know what that is? Toughness. Is toughness. They're not a tough team. They're a fraudulent team. 304. Spoken like a true cowboy. Jalen Hurts blows. Yeah. Okay? Chiefs spend more on offense than the Eagles, so do the Dolphins. Yeah, the Chiefs spend more on offense? With who? What money do they spend on offense? Receivers? You can't name me one. That's a fucking lie. What wide receiver do they spend? They spend money on the O-line, and they spend money on a tight end. They don't spend any money anywhere else than at the quarterback position. Who do they spend money on? You got $50 million in Philadelphia and two wide receivers alone. Who else? What are you talking about? You got a $15 million wide receiver that makes more money than Jason Kelce. So wait a minute here. Figure this out. There's nobody on the team. Your quarterback makes more than Patrick Mahomes. Both of your receivers make more money than any receiver combined, the entire group. Your tight end makes more. Both of your tackles make more than their tackles. What are you talking about? Patrick Mahomes is the 12th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He's actually pulled the Brady on everybody. You know what he said? You know what he did? He went just like this. Well, I'm not going to take the biggest money. I'm going to spread the money out, and I'm going to invest in my team. So I'm not going to be the highest paid player on my football team. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it around. That's what Brady did for 20 plus years in New England. Okay. Travis Kelce looks washed. We'll wait and see what he does in the playoffs. Nobody cares what Kansas City does in the regular season any longer. And I don't really care what Travis Kelce does in a regular season. He could have six catches. I don't really care. Okay, he could have 6 catches. Get into the playoffs. Kansas City is now gauged on what they do in the postseason, not what they do with records and such. Nobody cares. Okay, Minnesota's a physical football team. Just to go back over I got the Packers 10, Eagles 9. I got the Seahawks 8, 3-0. The Texans 7th. Bucs 6, might be too high. Steelers 5. I got the Vikings 4. The Lions 3, Bills 2. A lot of people have the Bills 1. I think you're the king until someone knocks you off. And I still got the Kansas City Chiefs as the best team in National Football League. Okay. After another missed call on Atlanta, I see too many games changing calls go their way. Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking. CMC out for the season. The Vikings are now the NFC favorites. Christian McCaffrey, is that being reported he's out for the year? I know he's in Germany for some reason. Okay? These are cap hits. Get this. This guy is going to try to show you how, again, Patrick Mahomes makes $45 million a year. Hurts makes $55. There's not one wide receiver on the football team that makes more than $4 million. Facts. What wide receiver is a $30 million wide receiver? Name it. Name it. Here. Mulata makes 30. Oh, no, 25. Lane makes 25. The guard makes 20. That's $70 million. The two receivers make 50. That's 120. The quarterback makes 50. That's 170. The running back makes 10. That's 180. And if you add the other positions, the Eagles spend $200 million on their offense in salaries a year. End of story. Facts. Salaries. They don't even have a 1,000-yard wide receiver in Kansas City. How in the world does anybody think look, they spend money in the O-line? You just can't. How in the world, Mahomes is not even a top 10 player in salary. Daniel Jones makes more. Kyler Murray makes more. Rashid Rice does not make $25 million. He's not a 1,000-yard receiver in Kansas City. They didn't have one a year ago. You can't make this shit up. There wasn't one 1,000-yard receiver in Kansas City last year. The tight end had 1,000. The running back didn't have $1,000. He's a 7th rounder still working on a 7th round deal. You get this. You got $51 million in 2 wideouts. Kansas City spends no money on wide receivers. None. How about skilled players? Quarterback's the 12th highest paid guy. The running back's probably the 30th. Your guy makes 10. Give me a break. Dual threat. I love dual threat. All right. Here is the MVP voting so far with big sells here. Early part of the year. Guys, please hit the like button. I'd like to get to 300 by the top of the hour here. Okay. Hey. Number 5. The man from the Texans. C.J. Stroud. Number 4. This is low. I've never seen him this low. I've got Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, from the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley. Number 2, I've got Sam Darnold from the Minnesota Vikings. And number 1, the man you saw last night, Unbelievable. Absolutely get excited every single time I say his name. Josh Allen. Woo! Man. Allen, Darnold, Barkley, Patrick Mahomes, and CJ Stroud. And Big Sills has an MVP vote. How you doing? Right now, man, it is Josh Allen, baby. Leading the way. What a quarterback. Barkley was worth every penny, Sills. Des the Jew, I was wrong on that because he looks it. Des, he looks it, brother. He surely does, man. Hey. If Barkley keeps up this pace, he's winning the Offensive Player of the Year award. It's going to be in a conversation for the MVP, too. I think he's playing as good a football as the top three guys. Allen, Darnold, and Barkley are the top three dudes in my book. Absolutely think they're great, man. Okay. Crowley says this, Barkley is good, but when is Jalen going to step up? He's still winning, dude. Do Eagle fans think Hurts is better than Allen? Don't do that, dude. Come on, 304. Don't make this. Come on, man. I'm in a good mood. Don't do that. Come on, man. Okay? Come on, man. Don't do that. Okay? Please don't do that. No. Hey, flexing. No. Josh Allen's way better. Has Allen reached a Super Bowl? No, Frankie, but Jimmy Garoppolo did. Hey, Frankie, Jimmy Garoppolo did. Oh, yeah, Jimmy and Jalen. Quite a group. I'd rather be in the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes conversation than the Jimmy Garoppolo and Jalen Hurts conversation on getting to a Super Bowl. Sills, imagine Allen with this Eagles offense. Stop doing this. Okay, stop it. Oh, man. Hey, Flexin, I've been watching you for about 3 hours, dude, or 2 hours, whatever it is, almost 3 hours. You and that guy need to get a room, man. And you guys can go, with the bubble bath stuff, and guys sit in a bubble bath and blow bubbles back at each other. You two guys are very feminine in here today. This is a man's room. Tell him, Sue. This is a man's room. Hey, Sue, tell him. Come on, man. These guys are like blowing bath bubbles at each other. Yeah, you know what? You look like a girl. No, you're the girl. No, I'm the girl. Holy cow. Like a little feminine in here. Come on, Flexin. Holy cow. Even Steve is doing. He sells. You know me and you go back and forth there, but I got to agree. These guys are blowing rainbows and butterflies at one another all day. Hey, I love you. I don't think blowing the bubbles would be the only thing. I digress. Hey, wait a minute. James. Hey, James. It already looks like Jaden Daniels is better than Hurts already. Oh, man. Sills just cooked his. Hey, Gooby, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, man. You start talking slave and, your girl and blowing bubbles and kissing ass and thongs and shit. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. We're talking about a man gang. Tell them, Sue. Come on in here. These guys are talking about, reach arounds and shit. I don't know. Oh, my God. How much would it cost to trade for Allen? If Trey Lance costs 3 first-rounders, Josh Allen would probably cost 6. Mahomes, you couldn't trade. It's impossible. He's untradeable. There's just nothing. You get your value return and the value of winning and what he brings to your cap. You couldn't do it. Okay? You couldn't do it. So you guys are going to buy into Dr. Chow, huh? I know Dr. Chow. My wife wouldn't let him do a surgery on my daughter's shoulder. I know Dr. Chow very well. Good man. Used to come on my show all the time. If you want to Google him and type in Junior Seau, go ahead. You tell me what you think of that after that. I had it all set up too. He was going to do surgery on my daughter's shoulder. And we went with Dr. David here, the surgeon for the Chargers. We went with him. Emotional what? No. We just didn't want him. McCaffrey's out for the year. Is that a fact? Well, this is going to be up to Brock Purdy. Let's see how much money he can win. It's going to be up to Purdy. Here we go. NFL. Big sales. Top 10. Top 10. Okay. Quarterbacks. Hey, Joe, do me a favor, will you please? I don't really have ever done this. Will you block that C24 goated guy? This guy's obnoxious. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing all day here. Somebody block that guy. I'm tired of this. Okay? And I don't do that. Just block this guy. I mean, all he's done is just sit in here and done dick. I don't know what he's doing. Damn. All right. Big Sills. Top 10. Okay? Top 10 quarterbacks. Oh, big bad Seals. Hey, James Jones. We're waiting for Mark Holmes and the excuses. That's Wednesday, my friend. All right, here we go. Number 10, I got Brock Purdy. Number 9, I got Jalen Hurts. Number 8, got Aaron Rodgers. Number 7, I got Baker Mayfield. Number 6, I got Jared Goff. Number 5, I got Geno Smith. Number 4, CJ Stroud. Number 3, Sam Darnold. Number 2, Mahomes. And number 1, Josh Allen. They just put someone in the computer grave. Rip C24. Oh. Thank God he can go blow bubbles with someone else, man. That's kind of not what we do here. You know what I mean? Seals, you suck, but you were right. Okay. Here, watch this. Your show is starting to get real corny with the same hate. What hate? What hate are you talking about? Every day it's the same old hatred on my squad. You're just a hater. You're not a fan of the team. I've never said I was a fan of your team. I never said I was a fan of your team. I'm a fan of the fans of the Eagles. And Abel, what have I been hating on that you don't like? What don't you like? I'm curious. Seriously. Let me see if it's just, or you're just going to make a random statement. I'm trying to hold your football team like Des the Jew says to a championship level. You want to hold it to winning regular season games. Abe, tell me, what am I hating on? I'm curious. No. Abe, I get it. I want to hear what, and you've been doing it for years. Doing what for years? You've underachieved for years. One Super Bowl in 30 years is underachieving. Peyton Manning underachieved in Indianapolis. One Super Bowl. Shit, Roethlisberger won 2. You mean to tell me Joe Flacco has as many Super Bowls in one stop in Baltimore that Peyton Manning has in Indianapolis? That's underachieving. Tony Dungy underachieved. Don't you hold yourself to a championship level, or do you hold yourself to just being decent? Holy shit. The problem that I have with people like Abel, this guy's used to mediocrity. And he roots for being mediocre. That's what he does. He roots for being average. Who the fuck does anything wanting to be average? Why do it? Why do it? If you're not going to be the best at it and give your best effort. That's a sick-ass attitude, and it's a lazy attitude, and it's a loser's attitude. That's the kind of shit you hear Woody Hayes saying about a guy like Abel going, I'll tell you what, Abel. You show me a guy that accepts losing, I'll show you a fucking waiter. I thought the Eagle fans were looking for more than that. I must be wrong. Especially you can always tell the people that are looking for that shit because you know what they do? They post the record of the team. Those are the true losers. Who gives a shit about being 2-1? You want to host another Lombardi Trophy. The Lombardi Trophy doesn't care what your record is. It just cares you win the last game of the year. No, Abel likes to be on the podium. Hold on here. Big Sills, you're my guy. I love the show. But sometimes your hate is outrageous. It's not hate, dude. I hate losing. Abel, let me tone it down for you then. I don't want to lose you. Okay? So let me say this to you then. I hate losing, dude. I didn't shake hands after games. I didn't congratulate people for kicking our ass. That's not my deal. I don't do that. I hate losing. I just hate it. I'm a poor loser. I'm an absolutely poor loser. Okay? So maybe that's how it comes off. Okay? I'm just a terrible loser, dude. Your list is good besides Gino. He stinks. Hey, here's JD. Thank you, Joe. I told Mark, Washington got their quarterback. New York will next season. Dallas is in real trouble if they don't get their shit together. They won't be in the dumps forever. Correct. Okay. Dallas is in trouble. Absolutely. Thank you. That's really kind. Abel, that's all I'm saying to you, brother. Okay? I hate losing, dude. So if it comes off sometimes that I'm harsh on your team, have you ever heard me talk about my Hurricanes? Not kind. And I love that team more than anything on the planet. And they've been a train wreck for 20 years. For 21 years, they've sucked. Okay? Sucked. Mount Everest, big ones. And it's hard for me to talk about them sometimes. Let me stop talking about them. I'm in a good mood. Allen's shot at Diggs was classic. I heard that last night. No receivers complaining about stats. Sean, you heard the same shit I did. Okay? Thank you, Maddie. Josh Allen loses every year. He's got a higher win percentage than Hurts. How's he lose every year? He's got a higher win percentage than Jalen Hurts. How's he lose every year? It's a fucking lie. He's got 4 straight AFC title, Eastern Conference or Eastern Division championships. How's he lose every year? Big Sills. Where does Jalen Hurts rank with the other $50 million quarterbacks? Well, right now, above Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, I would think. Okay. Well, Jalen Hurts is 2-3 in the postseason. Okay. Jalen Hurts has one more win than Josh Allen. And he plays in the AFC. And he gets beat by Mahomes. You get beat by Baker Mayfield. How you doing? Hey, Sills, you're awesome. Hey, Sills, you're great. Sills, you're the best. Sills can't read a message. That's because the shit goes too fast. What do you think? I went to a school that had 19% admittance into the school, University of Miami. You think I was going there to get an education? Even though my diploma was the one you folded and put it in your wallet? Without spelling out the word. David, thank you. Thank you very much. You guys are stupid. Every one of you. Hurts also beat by Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Oh. And he also beat by Drew Lock. Okay? Master Chief, take a knee. Take a knee. Okay? Burrow ain't the problem in Cincinnati. It's the defense. It is, Theo. It is. That defense looks like shit. Maybe they would trade Trey Hendrickson. I'd love to have him in Philly because I got a feeling that Duke Tobin, the general manager, they may start dumping things right away. Because here's the case. They got to get draft picks because T. Higgins are not re-signing T. Higgins. What are you going to do there? And you still haven't even given Jamar Chase his money yet. Keep cooking, Seals. Appreciate your no takes. This Eagles fan base has gone weak sauce. Too busy taking 8.5 inches Jerry was talking about. Oh, man. Yeah, there it is. Look at this. Here's a guy that thinks Josh Allen is better. He's better. Or Jalen Hurts is better than Josh Allen. You guys, I love your loyalty. I do love your loyalty. Hey, Yale. Yale, you think Jalen Hurts is better than Josh Allen? Do you? By the way, Ian Beckles, part of the broadcast team for the Bucs, is going to join us. Former Buccaneer himself will join us. That'll be at 5:30 Eastern. Okay? Josh Allen still has never beat the Eagles in his career. Okay? So are you saying, Eagle fanatic, that you believe Jalen Hurts is better than Josh Allen? Dude, Allen, no Super Bowl. Yeah, you and Garoppolo. Jalen and Garoppolo in the same boat. Okay? Seals, can we talk about potential edge rushers? Not yet. No team's going to do that yet. Okay? What do you like about Hurts, Yale? he wins. I guess that's the only thing you have to really like. It's the most important thing to like is winning. Sills, I used to get mad at your takes back in 22, but now I understand how you think you're passionate about your wins and your failures in your life. And you see those things in our Eagles. So you speak out. JAKIB, that's exactly right. I'm not coming from a place of success. I'm coming from a place of my failure. So when I watch those 2 D tackles blowing opportunity, I didn't not make it because of talent. I didn't make it because of my mouth and because of my bullshit. It had nothing to do with that. Then I got sick and it was over. You didn't have a lot of opportunity back then. 70 guys make a football team today. Counting the practice squad. 70. When I played, 46 made it. Think about that. 70 men make a football team today. And I was the last player cut 2 places. I mean, I played 12 years today. 70 players play? Make a roster? That sounds incredible. I think it's wonderful. It's not a bitch. I'm glad that there's more jobs and more opportunities for guys. I think that's fantastic. But back in the day, you couldn't hide anybody on IR. There was no practice squad. That's right. Yep. Guys get a chance. Look at Jalen Reagor. He just got signed to the Chargers practice squad. That guy's going to play in the NFL for the next 5 years, and he's going to collect a paycheck, and he's going to collect NFL money. It'd be better than collecting no money and getting a job. You're going to be paid. He's going to – would it shock me if Jalen Reagor ended up with like a 7-8-year career, 9-year career? No. A guy like that's going to make a roster. Is he going to play and be a star? No. Is he going to be a vested player? Probably. You know how easy it is to make a roster today? It's insane, great, and easy, and I like it. And now they're talking about expanding to 18 games, which means another bye, which means you're going to add and expand the practice roster. That's fantastic. That's great. That's great. Okay. Ian Beckles, we're going to reset where we were and some of the things that Nick said in his press conference. Ian Beckles, former Buccaneer. I think Ian Beckles may have been an Eagle. Hey, Yale, does that name sound familiar? I think Ian Beckles may have even played in Philly for a year or 2. I mean, I know he played in Tampa the majority of his career. Hey, KC Eagle. It was Ian. Ian was an Eagle, right? 297 likes. Guys, we have a great chance at rolling this bad puppy to 350, man. You guys were great yesterday, man. We went over like 550 yesterday. So he was an Eagle. Guys, hit that like button. Ian's going to join us. We're going to reset. We'll talk a little bit more about what Sirianni had to say. A little bit more on the Buccaneers and what we're going to see this weekend. What team is going to show up? Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in,
Decisions,
the dark.
the dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills, please hit the like button. We appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you so much, Sills. I got 470 likes today, my friend. Do you? All right. Not sure I see that here, but okay. All good. Keep hitting the like button. We appreciate you guys coming aboard. Interesting games last night, no question. But I'll say this to you. Why do I feel the 2-1 Eagles make me feel like the 2023 Eagles, like this is labor? Okay? Do you feel any different from last year's team? Okay? Do you feel any different? Didn't you feel better about the team last year at the beginning of the year than you do now? Or do you feel okay about it? Do you feel more, hey, look, you could feel better coming out of that New Orleans game, and I wouldn't hold that against you if you felt that a little better. QM held Shaheed to 0 catches. What a stud. Dude. Some games last night. You feel better? We played 3 good teams. It is what it is. You have played 3 good teams. Hey, it's a good point. You played 3 teams that potentially could be playoff teams. You got another one around the corner here with the Bucs. By the way, Ian Beckles, former Buck, part of the broadcast team, will join us at the bottom of the hour here. You know what? I think you're able to identify more of the issues that you have to work on. Look, I said this to you guys before. I think the number one thing that you have to look at with this group is that you're going to identify shaky things at the beginning compared to what you did a year ago. You didn't identify them. Xander said this yesterday a bit. You're going to identify holes in the boat quicker than you did last year. By the time the water, was overcoming the boat, you didn't have any way of bailing out of it. You couldn't bail out of it. You're going to get a chance to bail out of it. What's the problem with the team? I said this also when Xander was on. At the end of the day, you got to look at it this way too. The defense showed you what they can be against New Orleans. They're not that team yet. They're not going to. And by the way, the Bucs don't have great numbers. I pointed these numbers out to you. The Bucs don't have great offensive numbers when you look at them. I mean, these are not anything to look at here. Okay? I mean, the Bucs don't really frighten you unless it's the group you're going to send down there. Honestly, at this exact moment, absolutely not. There are way too many. It can go either way. That's SIP 41. Let's see Maniac, man. He hasn't chimed in here. I've been very disappointed in Maniac's participation so far in 24. I must say, Fishing Maniac, I've been very disappointed in you. Carlos Duhu, what's that? Say, look at, I mean, this guy's trying to talk to me about Massapequa. See this? This is what I'm talking about with Maniac. You know what he is? He's Jaylen Carter. Maniac's Jaylen Carter. He's easily distracted. Anytime you throw a lure out to him, Maniac gets distracted. And it's no good. You can't have him in your starting 11. Maniac. You know what I'm saying? I love you too, man. But, you're getting very distracted. That's because he's now a celebrity. Even Sue knows it. Holy man, but on to me. What are we doing here? Right? Sills last year were close games. Like this season. Maybe it was AJ because having 6 straight 125-yard games, but this is a better defense. No, it has the potential at being a better defense. I mean, Maniac, see, I love you too, but I don't know, I mean, this is the kind of guy you gotta, where are we going here? Just saying. Do I have to call Big Dom on you? Hey, but on. And then we get to our favorite topic. Hey, I think I'm going to have to start doing this. I'm going to have like a limit of killing of Nick Sirianni on the show every day. I think I'm going to have to be held to a limit on how much I'm going to kill that guy. So, I mean, there has to become some sort of like level-headedness to this thing here. Love you, buddy. I always talk about you and JAKIB as flexing. Hey, fuck flexing. I only care about you. I'm kidding, flexing. Don't get your panties in a bind. Look at this guy. Holy cow. He won't defend me with filibuster McMullen, but he comes in here parachuting in for Prince and for Maniac. I mean, holy cow, this guy comes in and he's just like, he defends all you guys. And, hey, there you go, flexing. Dropping snow. That's snowflakes for me. This is just betrayal. Siles, why do you feel more confident on the defense with Fangio in charge? Because I saw what this defense can be. That gave me a lot of hope. That performance against the Saints. Saints are a good football team. They got some good players, man. And they showed up big. That's what gave me the hope that they could play like that. But they got to play like that every week. I'm not sold they can yet. That's what gave me more hope, is that they can be that. Who was the big brother trying to hold back Jaylen Carter? Was that Clint Hurt? Yes. Yes. It sure wasn't. It sure wasn't little Nicky Sirianni. Okay? Seals, do you think the stunt saved us in that game versus Saints? They did they did a T-twist in the middle in there. They did a really nice job. Jaylen Carter got up the field too, man. He really did a super job at getting penetration on the second level too. Seals, do you think? Yes, I do. Look at this guy here, man. Held Kamara in check too. Des the Joe. I love Des is my boy. He look at Sue. Sue's just fucking laughing today. I don't know why. Hey, Sue. I know why Sue's laughing. You ready? Hey, Sue. Nick Sirianni. I laugh too. Hey. Sue. I laugh too. Every time I hear that dope's name, I laugh too. The only people that don't laugh are the guy with key fobs. I'm with you, Sue. Hey, you want to get a good chuckle? Just do this. Hey, Nick Sirianni. Dude, the guys on ESPN Get Up are saying, shut up. Honest to God, they were telling him to shut up. Oh, yeah, the real Zeal doesn't know what a T-twist is. Okay. Fair. Not ripping you. Okay. Center, OG, DT, NT, playing a 5 front, DT. Okay. You see the T? There's the 3, guard, center, guard. Here's the guy in the middle. See the T? You take one of these tackles, and I'll show you how to run a T-stunt. Is that not what they ran to get a sack for Carter? That's a T-stunt. The guy over the nose playing defense, the nose tackle, NT. See the T? Center, guards. There's your T. The nose tackle goes to his left. The right defensive tackle influences because you want that right guard to create more of a hole. And that left defensive tackle comes up the A gap. That's a T-stunt. That's exactly what that is. Now, what you have to get here is this guy here has to charge immediately into the inside shoulder or to the outside shoulder. This guy here has to make a big step in a 3 technique to get up that field, to get that guard making that step. This guy coming around, Jaylen Carter, right up the seam. Bang. Jordan Davis got a sack on a T-stunt. They did it really well because Carter's penetration was incredible and how he got up the field. Sills, how good were you at stunting? We did a thing called Kane's gap crash. Exceptional at it because I was fast and quick off the ball. I mean, remember, both Jerome and I ran 4.8s, 300 pounds. Back in the 80s, you didn't have 300-pound DTs. We were 2 300-pound guys running 4.8s, running against us. That wasn't happening. The guys we were playing against were 275. 300, played Oklahoma. But, you know, I mean, like even when I got to the NFL, some guys were 275 offensive linemen. That was 300 pounds. Okay? Sills, talk you guys like MAGA supporters. You believe anything he says. I don't know what politics has to do with sports in here. Sills, does the stunts help your eliminating doubles on the DT? Then, because it pushes the O-lineman to collide? Absolutely, Abe. What you do here, Abe, one of the most important things that you do, here's what you don't want to do, especially with a team that pulls a lot. Bucs pull a lot. These 2 guys, line them up in a 3 and a 1. Get them up the field. Will they run around a block occasionally? Yeah. But here's the one thing that Jerome used to do all the time, and he did it in Philly all the time. Jerome would just take off. What would happen? It knocked the guard off from doing a scoop and slip. And that guy had to pick his pace up and have a more of a flat step to try to get him when he did that inside stunt. And what he would do is Jerome would just go fake and come around to his outside and pass rush him on a 3 technique. Reggie did great shit doing that. Okay? I think those stunts, especially with the new center they had in there, that was a Clint Hurt and Vic Fangio. Let's run some stunts up top. When that center went out, they started running more T-stunts. If you notice, the entire second quarter and all from the second quarter on, when that center went out, they started doing more of that. And they were doing more internal stunts because the guy was playing guard, man. All of a sudden now he's playing the center position. And the guy was playing the center was doing a great job. So, yeah. Do you think the D was able to be good because they were able to use the 5 front? Remember what you guys asked me? Hey, David, you guys asked the question, Sills, is there any fixing this? I said, you got to outnumber them. And that's what they did. Instead of running a third, they even went to 61 at times. And if so, that right, it is. That's what they did. They outnumbered him. Defense still be dominant in other packages. You know what? Let's see how they play against the Bucs this week. I want to see the effort level that they play against the Bucs. Sirianni still has some say with the and figure on this offense. Still, yeah, he does for sure. He made the 4th down calls. He did. He even said it today that he's got some say. He actually said that it's a collective group of people that are making the calls. I think that undermines Kellen Moore. We owe Tampa beating, real talk. Yeah, no. They embarrassed you in that playoff game. I would have that on my plate. Every single guy that was on that football team last year got their heads kicked in. Yale goes like this. They're on the headset. But here's the difference, what Yale's saying here. Okay? They're on the headset with Fangio. Nobody's suggesting anything to him. Remember what Vic said. I don't want anybody in the booth with me. I don't want to hear any suggestions. This is going to go my way. This is how I'm calling it. You think there's any coincidence that you had clarity on that side of the ball? Look at the advanced pressure and the advanced how they played with one guy calling the plays versus 10 guys calling the plays on offense. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know about you, Xander, but you know what you can get with inconsistency too? Too many voices in the quarterback's ear. Vic, hey, get this. Nick said it in the presser. Hey, the quarterback coach will have a play. Stoutland will have a play. Offensive coordinator will have a play. I'll have a play. I mean, I don't want that. I want my quarterback hearing one guy in the ear of the quarterback. I don't want to hear that there's collective thinking process on what plays should be run. If those guys were coordinators and so good at it, they'd be coordinators. I don't want pseudo Sunday morning offensive coordinators who they're not qualified to be that. Someone goes, Sills, you saying Jeff Stoutland's not qualified to be a coordinator? No, I'm not. I am saying that. Or he would be. And I don't need the head coach. You notice where Nick is making these critical calls that he's saying that these are his calls? In the red zone. Why don't you let Kellen Moore do his job? Does anybody in Philly see, somebody will go like this. This is hating. Will somebody in Philadelphia ever let a coach do his job? It sure looks that way in Washington right now with what they're doing with Jaden Daniels. It looks like Cliff Kingsbury and Brian Johnson have a lot of say in that kid's development and growth. First week was terrible. Second week was okay. Last night was insane great. He's getting better every week. That's development. That's development. So, I mean, there's a lot of voices. And what I didn't like was Nick confirming that. Yeah, I make some play calls during the game. Why? This guy cannot get out of the way. And every decision he's made in 3 weeks has been wrong. I got to tell you, I've never seen a coach in my life make winning miserable like Nick Sirianni. I mean, he makes it miserable. They should be enjoying themselves. After a big win like that against New Orleans, you should be enjoying yourself. You should take relish that you went into a place that's impossible to win, New Orleans. Instead of feeling, and then get this, I've never seen a coach 2-1 win a game and get killed all week so far. And then him have to go in a press conference. I don't want to have to go over this again with you. And there's no follow-up. Basically telling the reporters, don't ask me the question again. I'd be like, don't tell me how to do my job. Where does the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles come off telling a reporter what questions to ask? Don't ask me another one. I mean, I don't really get that. For as bold as the Philly media is, to allow Nick Sirianni not to answer questions for shitty play calling and deciding to intervene in Kellen Moore's play calling, for him not to be able to answer that, that's the arrogance of the Eagle PR department, thinking that they can bully the Eagle media and the Philadelphia sports media. That's ego. Nowhere on the planet do you have a right as a head coach. All you have to say is on to Cincinnati. Hey, Bill, what do you think about replacing the quarterback? I never, ever heard Bill Belichick say to a reporter, don't ask me that question again. I heard Belichick answer the same question every single time. He never lost his patience. We're on to Cincinnati. You ever think about moving out Brady and putting Garoppolo? We're on to Cincinnati. Tom hasn't really played well. We're on to Cincinnati. He never got tired of answering it. He gave him shit instead of these word salads answers that Sirianni gives. I mean, he's a problem. He's a total problem. Bottom of the hour, we're going to get our friend Ian Beckles on here. We'll say it one more time to you, man. Nick Sirianni's a problem. I mean, this guy, he floats in and he makes these decisions, and you're not allowing your coaches to coach? Well, we'll see. All right. You know, I don't know what team is going to face the Buccaneers. I love the fact that I worked with this guy for so many years when we were at WDAE, one of the greatest sports stations. Now it's not quite the same. When we were there, everyone had 14 shares, and it was insane. It was just great radio. Well, the morning guy and the afternoon guy couldn't stand one another. The midday guys and I got along. Well, I got along with Ian. I don't know about Ron, but we all kind of like went back and forth, and those shows were like, dude, what I loved about that station, every show was different. You should see our old meetings. Nobody would talk to anybody. The guy who played with the Buccaneers obviously worked with them and their broadcast team too, and really a friend. And by the way, was a former Eagle himself, I believe. Our friend Ian Beckles joins us here on the National Football Show. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Danny? How you doing, brother?
Hey, I remember walking into those DAE meetings and going like this, and me and Dumick wouldn't say shit to one another, and you just sitting there laughing, and there's Ron talking, and everybody, I mean, dude, that's when that station was just absolutely killing it when we had those three shows. And you guys took over for a legendary guy in Chris Thomas.
Yeah, listen, I guess a lot like a football team, you could be a great team, but you don't have to love each other. So there wasn't a lot of hugging going on. But listen, as long as everybody kept their hands to myself, I was fine. But there was weird stuff going on, man. Like there was a lot of hate, and I didn't really understand why, to be honest with you.
Hey, I never did either, man. But hey, I'll tell you what, every time we went to the Hard Rock, Ian had these crazy ass parties, man. And they were, I'll tell you what, they're not exactly Diddy parties, but they were good. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, they're far from Diddy parties. They ain't nowhere near Diddy parties.
Yeah. All right. Hey, man, you know, I'm looking at these numbers for the Bucs, 26 in total offense and 27th in total defense, yet they're 2-1. Give me your takeaways so far in the first 3 weeks of what you see with this Bucs team.
Well, as you know, Dan, in the first 2 weeks of the season, 32 cities are going to be overreacting. And some teams are going to be 2-0. They're not going to make the playoffs. Some teams are going to be 0-2. They are going to make the playoffs. So the Bucs were sitting at 2-0. You feel good about yourself. You go to Detroit and beat a very, very good Detroit Lions team, a very sound, physical team in their house. So if you're a Buccaneer fan, you got to feel good about yourself. Now, if you broke down the numbers, the Bucs won 2 games despite not rushing the passer, despite not protecting the passer, despite not running the football, and it will catch up to you eventually. And it caught up to them last week when Denver came to town. And it's fun. Football's funny. You go from 2-0 to 2-1. Now you look at the rest of the schedule, and the next 7 weeks is going to be a son of a gun. That's for sure.
Baker Mayfield. Are you sold on him? I mean, he had 4,100 yards or something like that, almost 4,100 a year ago. He looked really good. And really, if you look at it, Ian, since December 3rd or 6th of last year, you guys are 10-4. I mean, he's won a bunch of games here. There's been some consistency. Last week, obviously, that you take into account, maybe that's just a one-of, but for the last 14 games, he's played pretty well. Are you sold that he's the guy moving forward?
I'm to the point with Baker Mayfield where I just don't even think it's a debate anymore. Because
I don't either.
Like Baker Mayfield in the last 16 games has played as well as any quarterback out there, and has won big games and big one, like going to Detroit, and we came this close to winning a playoff game and going to the NFC Championship. So I'm sold. Before Baker Mayfield got here, I'll be honest with you, Dan, I was like, what the hell? What are we going to do with this piece of crap who can't really link on with anybody? And when he got here, it didn't take long for him to win me over. And I see, and Dan, sometimes statistics are great, but you can see how the players love him. And you can see how the players are drawn to him, and his energy leads this team. And there's a lot of teams where the quarterback is not the energy. To me, Baker Mayfield is clearly the energy of this football team.
The offensive line, last week for the Eagles playing against the makeshift offensive line, once the center went out, Jordan Davis and Jaylen Carter pretty much had their way inside. I know your tackle is outstanding. Wirfs, the kid from Iowa, sensational. But in your opinion, I know you guys drafted a guy too from, if I'm not mistaken, a kid from Duke. You've got him in there. So tell me about the offensive line, because this is going to be quite a matchup, because this could be the difference in this ball game, this matchup between Carter and Davis and what you guys have up front in that O-line.
Well, that all the games are won in the trenches. So if you can't deal with the opposition and what they're bringing, you're going to be in trouble. The Bucs have not really played that great in the trenches this year. Offensive line wise, anything I say, I pretty much omit Tristan Wirfs, because Tristan Wirfs is probably the best overall. Not probably, he's the best overall lineman the Bucs have ever had. Probably by the widest margin of any other competition. I don't even know who's second, okay, to be honest with you. He's that good. Now, the rest of them, Luke Gedeke, I was very impressed with him last year, what he did. I don't know how you don't play well at guard, then you go to tackle and play well. I don't even know how that happens, but he got that done. Cody Mauch is an issue. Okay, last year I heard Pro Football Focus had him rated the last out of all the guards on the run game. He has not played well this year in the run game or the pass game. The young kid Barton is playing like a young kid. Rookies don't play well. I mean, I started 16 games my rookie year. Was it a success? Yes. Was I playing well for an NFL player? Absolutely not. So he's going to go through his growing pains. And as a whole, this Bucs offensive line just hasn't been that great. And the offense in general pooped on itself last week, and I don't really know who to blame, because nobody played well. I don't think the receivers didn't play well, the tight ends didn't show up, quarterbacks, offensive line, the whole thing looked like a shit show.
Running game got to be a concern then if the offensive line obviously is not clicking, in your opinion. I mean, 91 yards, especially with a football team that's averaging, they're averaging like 140 yards with Barkley here. So, I mean, you're going to have to get some running game going against that front seven of the Eagles. I mean, you're concerned with that, obviously, right?
Well, the Buccaneers running game kind of reminds me of Gerald McCoy, where every year people were going to tell me Gerald McCoy is going to get double-digit sacks because we brought somebody else in. And we know very well that a great rusher doesn't need anybody else, okay? Every year, and I mean, I started sports radio in 2002. Every single year since '02, I've heard the Bucs are going to become a running team, and they have not been one. So I heard it again this year. The Bucs are good to become a running team. It's an attitude. It's not about saying it. It's about running the ball regardless. How many running teams are left in the NFL? Maybe Detroit Lions, and that might be it. So I just want every year when I hear it in training camp, I rolled my eyes because this Buccaneers are going to be a passing team every single year. Because listen, Mike Evans has been here, Chris Godwin. It makes a lot of sense, and it's hard to just run the football in 2024.
Absolutely. Ian, you said that this kid may be the best offensive tackle the Bucs have ever had, including Paul Gruber. And I mean, then you turn around and you look at Mike Evans. You know what? I'll tell you something. I have never in my life ever just ignored a player who's been 10 years plus at 1,000 yards a year. I looked his numbers up. This guy's going to Canton, and he's a first ballot. I mean, then you got Godwin on the other side. There is weapons there. And just give us a little bit on what you've seen, because you've seen some really good players roll in there at that position. But I can't believe it. When you look at his numbers, and then you go, Mike Evans has done that? There's not been a receiver in the game since Jerry Rice do what he's done. It's insane how great he is.
Well, Mike Evans has proved me wrong probably 4 to 5 of the last years, because I've been saying the last 4 to 5 years, he's going to start getting old. And he just doesn't seem to get old. Now, eventually Mike Evans is going to start getting old. Now,
Father Time always wins, Ian.
Eventually, and last week he was taken out of the game. But if we know Mike Evans, every time he struggles in the game, he comes back and he balls out. So I wouldn't struggle. I wouldn't trip out if I saw Mike Evans get 150 yards this week, because that's the way Mike Evans normally does stuff. To me, Mike Evans is by far the best offensive player the Buccaneers have ever had. And when you talk about Tristan Wirfs, if you're going to compare Tristan Wirfs and Paul Gruber, you cannot. They're not close. Tristan Wirfs is 60% better than Paul Gruber ever was, and I'll put the film up against it. And that's not dogging out Paul Gruber. That's giving love to Tristan Wirfs and how darn good that kid is.
Folks, Ian Beckles is one of the fairest ex-athlete Bucs that I've ever worked with in that city. And I'm going to ask him something about a guy who, in my opinion, having talked to Bruce Arians, and he gave me a little bit of an insight. He comes on the show a lot, Ian, and I asked him about Devin White. Devin White has been a healthy scratch. He has not been active. Personally, I don't think he's ever going to play it down in Tampa. I doubt he's going to be active this week. He's healthy. You know, they put him on the IR first because of some sort of bullshit twisted ankle, and I didn't believe once he was demoted for Nakobe Dean. What happened in Tampa with Devin White? And here's the 5th pick in the draft, Ian. I mean, linebackers don't get picked that high in the NFL draft. I mean, there's only been 2 in the last 15 years that have gone in the top 10. What happened here with Devin White and his career, in your opinion?
Well, Devin White, his career started off great. I mean, he
All-Pro second year.
Yeah, we came off of Quan Alexander, and I was a big fan of Quan Alexander. And then we get Devin White, and you're like, how can we, replace the athletic ability of Quan Alexander? Here comes Devin White, who's is more athletic than Quan Alexander, and it started off pretty good. And I don't know if it's physical. I don't know if it was mental, but something clearly happened with Devin White to where he wasn't playing the same. Like, football is so in the moment that if your concentration wavers just a little bit, you look bad. And if you remember that one play that it looked like you forgot what he was doing. Like, he was just running. He was just jogging for a Sunday stroll in the park as the football game was going on. And he didn't make a big deal out of it. Like, if I saw myself on film playing like that, I would be disgusted and I'd be apologizing. And Devin White was always about him. And it's got to be about the team, Dan. You know that. It's always about, well, I need more money. I'm. Well, dude, you need more money, but you played like shit at the end of the year, and you're asking for more money. Then you're sitting there holding out and doing all this crazy shit, and then you're not playing well. They sat his ass on the bench. If you were that talented, you'd be on the field. They sat his ass on the bench, and now he's on the bench again. So, listen, if you can play football, somebody's going to find somewhere for you to play. And it's getting to a point where I just don't think Devin White can play anymore. There's something going on. I don't know if it's physical or mental.
So do you think the business of the game has clouded his judgment on how he sees it? Because when I hear him talking, this guy still thinks he's second-year captain of the Bucs defense, and he's all pro, and he expects to get a big-time salary again. And yet, all of a sudden, Vic Fangio, as you know, he's an old-school guy, sat his ass down and said, hey, you're not starting. We're going to start Dean. And I heard that because I got Clint Hurt there. Clint Hurt is a former Miami Hurricane, and he was a coordinator up in Seattle. And it sounded like he blew a gasket when he was told that he wasn't going to start. And I said, it's kind of like the same shit that went on in Tampa. He was told that, didn't a UDFA end up beating him out, that KJ Brittany or whatever his name was? He ended up beating him out, right? And I'm like, this looks like the business of the game has eaten him up.
Yeah, KJ Britt beat him out, and who's about to lose his job to Savasier Dennis, because Savasier Dennis is pretty darn good. But Devin White, to me, like, he has all the freaking talent in the world, but we know talent could be wasted. I just think he's immature. I think he's an immature person. Everything comes out of his mouth is immature. And immaturity and being a middle linebacker in the NFL, they don't go together. That's the quarterback and the defense. And that's everybody's looking for you, for spiritual guidance. And I don't think Devin White's the guy to give it. So I think his days are numbered.
Todd Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I'm a fan of his. Ian, I don't know if you are, but I just, the way he seems to be a Tony Dungy type calming force that never gets too high, never gets too low. The players can look to him with confidence that he's going to put him in a position to win. He looks fair. I'm going from the player side of it. He just looks fair, and that's a guy you want to play for. I really like the coach. I think that he rallied the troops last year for the Bucs and got them into the playoffs and waxed the Eagles in that playoff game. Are you a fan of Todd Bowles?
Once again, I think like Baker Mayfield, I don't know if you're a Buccaneer fan, why you wouldn't be at this point. The Buccaneers have been to the playoffs, I think, 4 straight years. They've been 2-0 4 straight years. Todd Bowles, I think, is overachieved as a coach. This is the same Todd Bowles that put together a scheme to win a Super Bowl against one of the best quarterbacks ever played, Patrick Mahomes. This is the Todd Bowles that sometimes when the things look like there's no chance out there, he puts together a scheme and his defense plays amazing. Todd Bowles put together a defense, and I'm going to ask you, Dan, who's the Buccaneers' best pass rusher?
I couldn't name him.
Me neither. So you're out there succeeding without a pass rusher. And if I asked you who the best pass rusher last year, I think the answer is Vita Vea, and he missed a bunch of games, and he's a big fat guy. So we don't really have a TJ Watts and a Hutchinson and somebody who's going to change the game, but we're still getting results. So to me, Todd Bowles is that guy that the players embrace. I've never heard a player really speak against him, and I have the utmost respect. He never said anything crazy to me, and like I said, he's winning, and I see the respect coming from the players.
No doubt about it. 2 last questions for you. From 30,000 feet, I'm going to throw these numbers at you here. In the last 20 games, Jalen Hurts has 26 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the difference between him and Trevor Lawrence. He wins. You know what I mean? Do you learn to just live with the turnovers like you do with Josh Allen? I know Allen doesn't have any turnovers this year, but he's got a high volume of turnovers. When you have a dual threat guy like that, I guess it's not every turnover is equal when you're talking about situational football. So Ian, when you're, today I had an epiphany on it. Maybe you just have to learn to live with the turnovers with a guy like that because, dude, if you're winning at a clip like he's winning, he wins massively. He's got a great record, him and Allen both.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just learn to live with the turnovers?
Well, Jalen Hurts has played some really good football. So, his body of work is not that bad. Here, as of late, he has been turning the ball a little bit more. He's winning because he's got a lot of freaking talent everywhere on that football
Absolutely.
team. On both sides of the ball. Josh Allen, I don't – that son of a bitch is a bad son of a bitch.
Hey,
so,
but I saw last night, Ian, I don't know if I've ever seen
Yeah.
anything like that in my life.
if he doesn't get injured, I don't see Buffalo losing. But then again, football is funny and things happen and there's all injuries. Now, you brought up another name, Trevor Lawrence. Let me tell you this about Trevor Lawrence, Dan. If Trevor Lawrence was black, he wouldn't have a job. Okay, I'm being honest.
Nope.
Trevor Lawrence has worse numbers than Gardner Minshew, and Gardner Minshew has to beg for a job every year, and they're just handing Trevor Lawrence jobs and giving him what, 30, 40 million dollars?
No, 55 annually.
No, he's not good though. I don't know if I've ever seen Trevor Lawrence be great. I've seen him be good, but I've never seen him be great. That's a lot of damn money. And when everybody in your locker room, a la Daniel Jones, is looking at you walking up every week and picking up a check for $3 million, I mean, that's just a bad feel, yo. And you're subtracting other people. There should be more talent in that locker room. And like I said, his hair's great. He's a good-looking kid. He's a good poster, whatever. But he can't play, man. He can't play.
Dudes with mullets are not supposed to be good anyway. But hey, Ian, one thing's for sure, though. Say this. Is there one thing he does exceptional? Like, is there, like, everyone's got a skill set. Lamar, Jalen, Baker, Mahomes, Allen. Everyone's got something you go, that's what identifies with that guy. Does he do anything exceptional?
Have you ever seen him flip his hair?
Yeah, and that stupid hair commercial. Yeah, I have actually.
No, that's his shit. He flips his hair real nice. Like, if he looks like Sunshine on that movie, and he's a good-looking kid, so he's going to stick around for a while because
Flash of the Titans reference drop. Nice.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't get it. I never see greatness in Trevor Lawrence. I thought he was going to be good. I'm not seeing it.
Okay, couple NFL questions. I got to ask you this one. All right. If you had to win a Super Bowl, you saw Brady in Tampa. Brady or Mahomes? Who are you taking?
Brady now or in his prime?
No. And Brady in his prime. Mahomes, I don't even know if he's in his prime. I'm going to assume he is.
Mahomes.
Why Mahomes?
Just because. I mean, listen, Tom Brady, me picking Mahomes has nothing to do with Tom Brady and his greatness. What people can't tell me is that if you take Tom Brady off of those 7 Super Bowl teams, and you put Mahomes in there, that they wouldn't win. That's no way. Because what does Tom Brady, other than win, which is important, what does Tom Brady do better than Patrick Mahomes? I'll wait. I mean, really. Now, Patrick Mahomes is...
How about this? You think he does a better job reading defenses?
Yes, I do. But that's one thing. The other things, the arm angles, the getting out of sacks, the
dual threat stuff,
all the rest of the silliness. Patrick Mahomes is silly. Doesn't matter who. Once again, Tom Brady's amazing. Okay, he's just not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Listen, everybody.
If that guy wins 3 in a row, Ian.
Yeah,
I would put that in as the greatest accomplishment by a quarterback. And I know it's 7 Super Bowls versus 4, but still 3 in a row is something that's never been done. If they win that 3 in a row, I mean, that would be stupid insane because, even in a salary cap era, that's impossible.
Especially now when I remember saying, well, there's never going to be another New England. Well, it's kind of happening right now. So
it is. They
better figure out a way. And, man, there's no way that Kansas City doesn't run into Buffalo in the playoffs. There's no way that doesn't happen, and that might be a 65-64 game. It might be. It's going to be an amazing football game.
Final question for you. You had to have one coach. Would it be Andy Reid or would it be Bill Belichick?
Personally,
yes.
I would take Andy Reid.
Why?
I would take Andy Reid because I don't want to deal with Bill Belichick. I've been around Bill Belichick. When I was with the Jets in '99, I was there. I just don't want to look at his face. He's not the most appealing person. I was next to him on the treadmill. I was trying to talk to him. He just didn't say a word to me. He's an asshole. But does he know football better than everybody else? Yes. Andy Reid's a little bit more jolly, and I would have more fun with Andy Reid. So I think they're both great. And when it's all said and done, they're both going to get a bunch of championships with the best quarterback around. So there's not many coaches that have a lot of championships that didn't coach for or coach a great quarterback. So it's got to be a combination. And you say, was it Brady or Belichick? It was both. But I think majority goes to the quarterback, to be honest with you.
You still making shirts?
Nah, man, I'm out of the shirt business. I'm in the.
I still got 3 of them.
Yeah, well, you still got the dignitary shirts and the SIB shirts and the 152 shirts.
Yeah, I got all that. I saved every one of them. I got them. I got them in my drawer in my bedroom, man. I still got those. I saw them the other day. And funny, you know what? I said, we're playing the Bucs here, and look at this. This is Ian's shirt right here.
There you go.
So I said, let's get his ass on here, man. No, I mean, I saved that stuff. You still have the fight gym, or was it a gym you had?
Oh, that was fucking ages ago, dude. I own a Kava and Kratom bar now. We have a smoke shop in here, and
killer.
Yeah, I'm a cannabis activist, and
so you got the hookah working.
Oh, I do with the hookah with all kind of stuff in it. You know that. I ain't scared of it.
Ian, I love you, man. You have not changed whatsoever. You're a man of your own words, man, and you follow your own way. Thank you so much for doing this and being our friend, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
Anytime, brother. One love.
You bet, man. I love Ian Beckles, man. Great stuff. Loved working with him. Had a blast with him. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. You should have seen that whole – you should have seen that thing. There wasn't a person that liked anybody at WDAE. I couldn't stand the afternoon guy. I didn't talk to him for 14 years. Hey, Xander. I had a guy. His name was Steve Dumick. I didn't talk to him for 14 years. Would not say anything. We'd show up to meetings. I was on the station for 15 years. I wouldn't talk to him. He wouldn't talk to me. Sometimes we would pass in the hallway, and I call him an asshole. He called me an asshole. I worked with Bubba the Love Sponge. I hated his ass too. Oh my God. The thing was, but the whole station was like the #1 sports station in the Southeast. And the whole thing got 10 shares. It was absolutely stupid how good that thing was, man. Unbelievable. Hey guys, don't forget BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sports book, do me a favor. Make sure that you guys understand what we're talking about, the great relationship that we have here with our friends at BetUS. Great deal going on right now. Our YouTube 150 deal, up to $2K, 150% bonuses on your first transaction. Then your second and third, or 125%, plus 200% on crypto bonuses for you there. Make sure you log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized services, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. BetUS.com.pa. That's BetUS.com.pa. Do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Twiz is such a dick. Twiz. There's Ed Reed's number right down there. And you see the little Hurricane alumni thing? Ed Reed. I can't show you that because it's a cell phone number. But there's Ed. You know the only reason I don't get him on? I forget. It's not because he won't come on. It's because I forget to ask. Taylor goes fake. Hey, is The Rock fake too, Taylor? Fake. Yeah, okay. That's because people who come on this program like Ice Cube and The Rock and all the general managers are fake. I got Sirianni's number too. Look at this. Here, Nick Sirianni. Let me put it in here. Nick. I can't show it to you because it's got his cell phone. But there's Sirianni's number. Under my thumb. I get his cell phone number. Fake. That's because everybody who's been on the program. I know, Taylor. Yeah, The Rock's fake too. Hey, Taylor, you don't have to believe it. I don't really care if you do or not. Okay? Bobby Lang squashed the Sirianni interview. He did. Can't put Nick on because you're so mean to my general manager, Elf Roseman. 2 more likes, bitches. Come on. Elf Roseman. Seriously, if that guy ever got fired as general manager, he could go to work for Santa in the North Pole and wrap presents. Be a good gig for him. Or he could be in a circus. Oh, man. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. I don't mean that. Okay. Anyway. Guys, thank you so much. You guys, great. Absolutely wonderful. I appreciate it. Go to work at the North Pole with Santa. Fantastic. Thank you guys a lot. We appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out the building. Thank you guys again. We're over 350. 2 spectacular days, 2 to 6 tomorrow. Xander and Big Joe, thank you. We'll see you on the flip side.